and watch.
Yes. Welcome, everyone. Hi there. I'm Anna Manuel, the co-host of Transform Table Talk Live. What an exciting day we have on store for you today. This day we have been waiting for so long. We are coming to you live from Washington State for the book launch, 8 out-of-the-box ways to transform your health by Dr. Maggie Yu. And Dr. Maggie will be joining us in just a moment. But first, want to say hello and give everybody some time to hop on in. Let us know, where are you watching from? You're going to want to get comfortable because we have so many fun things in store. Grab a snack, grab a drink, get cozy. If you have a copy of the book already, I know some of you have already bought this book, right? Go grab it. If you have the ebook, you're going to want to open it. Why is that? Well, we have some exciting things planned for you. We have games, contests coming up, and you're going to want to be able to have quick access to it so you can take part. So many surprises in store for you today. How did you find out about this? Were you a past client of Dr. Maggie? Were you referred by somebody who said, hey, you need to learn more about what's going on with Dr. Maggie and the knowledge that she put in this book? Let us know how you found out about this live stream today in the comments. Of course, Dr. Maggie always loves to talk with you, not at you. We really want this to be an interactive experience. So thank you. We see so many of you joining in right now. We're just giving you a little bit of time to come on in and have a chance to hang out with us, because that's what it's going to be. We're going to have a great day today. We have special guests coming to you, not only guests who inspired portions of this book, but also guests who are actual case studies within this book. And if you've read it, if you have the book already and you've read parts of it, I've read this book several times now, you will be able to connect with these case studies. I know I was, in more than one way. Everybody's story rings true, because if you're dealing with any kind of chronic health problem, this is the answer. Dr. Maggie is calling it the playbook for whole body wellness. We're so excited to have you on board today to tell you everything that went into this book and everything you can expect to learn from it. So without further ado, here we go.
It wasn't until I got sick and I had to look for my own solutions that I realized that I was missing a big piece of the puzzle. I knew there had to be a better way. I knew I had to go out of the box. And over the last 10 years, I've been able to help thousands of others do the same. As a scientist, as a mother, as a doctor, as an author, it is my mission to help everyone become the major driving force for health and in their life.
One of the leaders on the forefront of health is Dr. Maggie Yu. What makes her practice especially valuable is that she's not just looking to treat the symptoms, which is what most doctors do, but she gets to the root cause of disease to address the source issue.
I trusted her so much. She has so much to offer, and she cares. You can tell how much she cares.
Her delivery is really sincere. It's authentic. It comes from a really great place, because I just know that her heart is there to serve other people.
I've been a practicing physician for 27 years. I was educated at one of the most prestigious medical schools in the country. It's always been my goal to help people with their health, but most importantly, with the quality of their lives.
It's the first time I have been free from pain, and I don't feel like I'm 90 years old. So Dr. Maggie, thank you so much.
When people tell me what's wrong with their health, I believe them now. You know why? I wasn't believed.
She's an advocate. Maggie's an advocate.
She would fight. She would fight for us.
She's open and trusting of and deeply invested in your own intuition and what you believe about your own body.
Forget the smoke and mirror seminars. The hollow health gurus. Dr. Maggie's the real deal. She's a medical doctor with the drive of a fighter and still holds on to the heart of a mother.
Dr. Maggie Yu stands out for her confidence and rich knowledge in a field crowded with experts. Her approach is really defined by a clear certainty in offering solutions, which then offers hope to those seeking help.
It's important for every person to know that has a struggle, that has an obstacle, that has a health problem is it's real. They are seen and they are believed. And not only that, the problem can be solved.
And here she is with us, Dr. Maggie Yu, on this very exciting book launch day. Welcome, Dr. Maggie.
I'm so excited about this. Thank you, everybody. People are just popping in. I'm seeing tons of comments already. Oh my gosh, Tyler, oh my goodness. Those of you that are jumping in, I'm really, thank you for jumping in. Tell me where you're watching from and tell me how you're connected with me or the book or the programs. I would love to see in the comments. Oh my gosh.
There's been so much excitement surrounding this, and you can feel that. You can feel it in the chat. Everybody is just so excited that you decided to put everything that you have learned over the years into one place. And I can't wait to learn more about the lessons that are in here, what we can expect when we read this book, and to hear from you about what inspired you to write it.
I'm super excited about that. And I would say first and foremost, one of the things I really want to talk about is my biggest thing that I love to do is I feel like I see patterns where other people don't see. I love to look at things. I would say I'm a puzzle master when it comes to people and their health.
It's true. You can solve the unsolvable, what has been deemed unsolvable. Well, those hard cases come to you and you're able to see those patterns and to crack these cases and to get people feeling well. And that is what you have boiled down into the lessons in this book.
And this is why I think about the problems that people face that they have to solve. And right now, I'm going to ask each one of you in chat right now. Tell me, if you've already worked with me and you thought you had an impossible to solve health problem, tell the in the comment section what it was the problem and did we solve it or not? I would love everybody who's worked with me in any of our programs before. What impossible problem did we solve for you? Okay.
I was calling her Vanilla Ice earlier because I said, if you got a problem, yo, she'll solve it. Maggie was like, I'm not going to start dancing. Okay.
I think we're frozen.
Did we freeze?
Oh, we froze.
Let us know in the comments if you can still hear us.
Can you still hear us?
Give us a hello if you can.
What is happening? You're not on one. Why?
Okay, they can hear us. Thank you for telling us that. I'm not sure. Is our video frozen for you? Let us know about that.
You can hear us.
We're going to still talking. You're frozen. Okay. It is the most lovely of screenshots, I'm sure, of frozen video. That's okay. We can still talk to you until we get the video fixed. No problem. Maggie, I want to hear a little bit more from you about, well, first of all, how funny is it book for so long, putting all of your energy and effort into creating. You're just laughing at that.
Someone just said you guys are frozen with the thumbs up. YouTube froze.
YouTube froze, and the audio is gone now too. All right, give us a minute.
Audio's cutting in and out. Okay, hold on.
Oh, you can.
We can
the
still
sound
hear
is
us?
back.
Can we keep talking?
You guys are the heroes here for letting us know. We appreciate it. Thank you, Annie. Thank you, Cynthia, Sandra, Facebook users. Hey, go ahead and give permission to StreamYard if you want, because we love to see your name as well and know who you are.
Yeah, take like a second and just let us know. There's a little thing on the bottom of the live where it says give StreamYard permission to show your name. Then I know who's talking. Yes, Kimberly O'Brien.
That it is that you guys can still hear us, because on our end we're just seeing us go to black a little bit. We're going to assume you can. Thank you for sticking with us. Please don't go away, because we have so much fun planned.
Gone now. Is the audio back again?
Is it coming in and out? Listen, I want to know, did anybody hear my Vanilla Ice reference? Okay.
Okay, if you heard the Vanilla Ice reference, just put Vanilla Ice.
And thank you for letting us know what kind of problems you're dealing with. It's really helpful that Dr. Maggie likes to be able to see that. So many of the issues that you're dealing with, you will find these stories also in the book of people who were dealing with so many of those same struggles. Maggie, I really liked how you gave us these stories, these real life examples of people you have worked with. I don't know, tens of thousands of people in your career.
So here's the thing. Can anyone guess how many years I've been a practicing physician for?
She looks so young that it is hard to...
It's true. Asian skin don't crack.
Hard to imagine, but how many years has it been?
In June will be 28 years I've been a practicing physician for.
So in that time, and I know that your practice has evolved and changed in the way that you have worked with people, but it's the way that it has evolved that has really given you this basis.
Oh, look at everybody's writing down 27. They can hear our audio. Don't worry, we're going to get video back. Yeah, it's actually in June, it'll be 28 years. So everybody who said 27, you are spot on.
You're
okay.
Right there. And so, yeah, tell us a little bit about your background then, because you started out, I know you went to UCLA Med School.
Yeah, and I went to UCLA Medical School, and I afterwards did my residency at Kaiser Permanente in Los Angeles. So anybody from Southern California or LA, give me a chime, give me a holler. That'd be great. What's up?
Cali.
Yes. And couple things.
Dr. Jason, Ice Ice Baby. Okay, they heard it.
You know what? Thank you for the Ice Ice Baby reference. But actually, you know what? While we're waiting for the video to come back, I have something for you guys to do. We have dropped the price of the book during this launch to a ridiculous price of $2.99 for the ebook.
What?
So what I would like for you guys to do right now is, if we're going to share a link in chat. Our video's back.
We're back. Hi, we're still really here.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. Okay. Today's launch day. We have dropped the price of the ebook to $2.99 on Amazon. And that was the lowest price we're able to do right now. So I want you to go ahead. There's going to be a link that our team's going to share in chat right now. Hop over and get the ebook at $2.99 if you can. Make sure you go through a browser, because I'm just not going to get political about this, but the app, the Amazon app, which is on Apple, has some restrictions on it. It doesn't allow you to see the price of the ebook. So if you go through a web browser, you'll be able to see both the physical copy price as well as the ebook copy price.
Okay.
Go and get the book, the ebook. We have dropped that price to $2.99. Okay.
$2.99. People want to know, do you have to have a Kindle to get that ebook?
No, you do not have to have a Kindle to open the ebook.
Okay. Perfect.
There's actually a Kindle app with which you can even open it. So my encouragement is for you guys to jump over there right now and get the ebook for $2.99. And there's going to be a reason why you're going to want it.
Okay.
Because
get it and download it right now, because you're going to want it during this broadcast. You won't want to miss some things that you're going to want to have access to the book for.
Exactly. So what I'm going to tell you is a couple things. When you get the book on launch day, number one, right now the ebook is $2.99, number one. Number two, there are going to be bonuses worth well over $97. I don't know why they put 97, but it's worth way more than that. We have a bonus bundle that comes with the book. Anybody who purchases the book, it's going to have a bonus bundle with it. And I think that'll come up on the screen in a little bit. In the bonus bundle, we have a whole 8-part series. It's almost 9-part series on how to end mast cell activation syndrome. We have a thyroid guide in there. We also have a mini course in there called the Hormone Certainty. And that's well over $97 that you're going to get by getting the ebook at $2.99. There we go. Those are some of the things that you're going to get when you get the book today, number one. Number two, we have, if you're going to get the book on launch day, we have, for the launch team here, all of you that are watching, additional bonuses and specials that are going to be there.
Oh.
So additionally, if you're going to be getting the book on launch day, there's going to be a way for you, by clicking the link, to go over to Amazon, giving us, letting us know who you are. There's going to be a way for you to collect, for the first time, Insider's Guide to Transformative Protocols. Every supplement protocol that I have created is in this book, and it's called the Transformative Protocols, the book. And we're going to be able to, this is happening only for launch day. I've never released this before. So if you're going to be purchasing it today, whether it's 1 copy, 2 copies, 10 copies, however many copies, you're going to be getting this all the transformative protocols book, every single supplement protocol that I've developed over the last 27 years, number one. Now, for those of you who are getting 10 copies or more, I have an additional gift for you. For those of you getting 10 copies or more, there's a way for you to let us know that you got 10 copies and that you will be receiving 2, not 1, but 2 workshops that we have never released before.
Oh, wow. This is all news to me. So I'm like blown away by all of these extras and specials and bonuses. What a crazy value. Are we frozen again?
I think audio should still be going.
Help us out again, you guys. Are we frozen on your screen, but can you hear us?
Yeah. So one of the things I'm going to let you guys know is that if you have already bought the book, I'm going to tell you that if you spend $2.99 to get the ebook today, you will be getting the bonuses that we're talking about today.
Okay. Thank you for letting us know. And of course, it's always the most extremely flattering freeze frame, right?
So I want to go through the 2 workshops that you're going to be getting when you buy 10 or more copies. Number 1 is a never released workshop that I did behind the scenes, which is how to end chronic pain workshop number 1. And then the second workshop that you're going to be getting is how to transform mental health naturally.
Okay, that's a big one. Talk to me about why you wanted to do something all about mental health.
For me, well, a lot of people with chronic health symptoms are diagnosed with having mental health symptoms. Yeah. So that's a big issue. Therefore, for a lot of people, the underlying root causes of mental health is not, people will diagnose people with ADD, people will diagnose people with bipolar, depression, anxiety, but nobody really addresses what's really the underlying root cause of that problem. Like for me personally, I've been diagnosed with many of these diagnoses when the truth is the underlying root cause have never been addressed. I don't really have ADD. I don't have ADHD. I work with a lot of people with ADD and ADHD who've been misdiagnosed. I've worked with a lot of people with hormonal problems, impossible to solve problems. And think about this, I solve impossible problems like POTS. Postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome or dysautonomia, right? But most of those people, a lot of you in the audience don't even know what it is. But if I list the symptoms, you'd be like, holy heck, is that what I have?
I have that, right?
Well, yeah, it's because when you have positional changes, your heart rate can really change. And so does your blood pressure can really change. And so that's a big deal because, well, it can cause you to faint. It can cause people to not be able to drive, walk, have stability. And think about that. Wouldn't it cause anxiety?
100%.
Absolutely.
How could you not if you at any point don't know when you're going to potentially faint?
Well, most people with POTS and dysautonomia are actually diagnosed with having anxiety and panic attack disorder, and they are going to the ER over and over again, and they're being told their EKG is normal. They go see the cardiologist, is all normal.
It's all in your head.
But it's not. It's actually real. I love these mystery illnesses. How many people have POTS, dysautonomia, have dizziness, tachycardia that's unexplained? Type that in chat. And for me, when we go over the book, which we're going to go over in a little bit, I'm going to let you guys know. People are like, I already have the book already. Thank you so much.
Good.
And for those of you who already have the book, make sure you have the book in hand because we're going to have contests that we're going to be running shortly. If you don't have the book, go get the ebook right now and open the ebook because we're going to be running contests based on some things that are going to be happening with the ebook as well.
$2.99. Go grab it now. Do it through a web browser. Don't do it through the app. You don't want to do it through the Amazon app. You want to do it through the web browser so you can get the special pricing.
Well, look at Emma Info Dumps coming in from YouTube. Her comment is that she had POTS for 3 years. And Miss Emma here, I think is 23. So there are a lot of these mystery illnesses. She said POTS for 3 years, way better since week 3 of the program.
So within a matter of weeks, these problems that have been deemed uncurable, we don't know how to solve this. 3 weeks, the symptoms are fading away. And Maggie, Dr. Maggie, these are the same lessons that you have encapsulated in this book that she's talking about being a part of your program.
Yep.
So, okay.
Yeah. And and later today, so let's talk about the impossible problems that I love to solve. Yes. Let's talk about this. What does this book, what are the problems that this book solves? Okay. So for those of you in the audience, if I ding, 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 ding on your diagnosis or your symptom, can you type it in chat? That would be really great. And for alumni and people who've been through our programs, if I solved those problems for you, I would love for you to put that in chat as well. So we could hear about that. Number one, I'm going to ask you guys, number one is POTS and dysautonomia, right? That that, number one. Number two, mast cell activation syndrome and histamine intolerance. How many of you guys are diagnosed with irritable bowel syndrome, crazy allergies, reactions that your allergists are just shaking their head and they're like, I don't know what's wrong with you. How many have been to the allergist?
Hives, you're getting hives and you don't know why, and you can't seem to figure out what's the rhyme or reason why they're popping up.
Right. And so more and more it's come to front with the diagnosis with mast cell activation. How many of you know what I'm talking about? How many of you have it?
Saying ding, ding, ding.
Right, Jill? And how many of you have histamine intolerance? Notices now that even like food, random food, and it's not even like this week is this food, but the next week is that food, and it's causing a reaction. Well, that's a lot of that is either mast cell or histamine intolerance, or those are huge. And since the big C with long haul, it's actually triggering a lot of people to have even more and more and more reactions. So that's a big trigger of it. And then the other piece of this is big times of hormonal change. So you have tons of women going through perimenopause and menopause, suddenly having more and more of these reactions. And it's not because you're crazy, they're actually real, and there's a medical basis as to why you have it. Like this whole mast cell, histamine, and increasing food allergy thing, it's like a societal plague that's getting worse and worse and worse. And it's coming to like this head. And there is scientific reasons behind it. And it is a puzzle that's completely, absolutely solvable.
And that is so refreshing to hear, because how many times, especially people like you mentioned with hormone issues, they get bounced around and don't even know what practitioner to see for this.
Exactly.
And you mentioned menopausal, but in your book, you also really lay out that men, you have some issues that you solved hormonal problems for men as well.
Mm-hmm.
This is men and women. This book is really for both genders, sexes. This book is for everybody, people of all ages, because you talk as well about hormonally sensitive times. What are you looking at?
It's so funny. I'm reading the comments. I'm reading all your comments. Somebody's like, I'm curious what books you have up on the shelf.
Oh, what do we have? What's in Dr. Maggie's own personal library?
We're coming
to you live from Dr. Maggie's
One of my
house.
favorites right now is Mastery, actually. Mastery. There's also a book, the 48 Laws of Power. Those are two I've been consuming recently that really, I think Robert Greene is the author. I love to read, so this is another reason why I wrote a book. But yeah, somebody's asking in chat, what books do you have up there? But you know what? I just want to remind everybody before we head on to talk about other things. I know we got interrupted and all, but the main thing is, don't forget right now, click the link to go buy the book, especially the ebook for $2.99. And you're going to be getting some bonuses with that. You're going to be getting our Transformative Protocols book as a bonus if you purchase today. And then if you buy 10 or more, you're going to be getting 2 workshops, not one, but 2 workshops that have been never released to the public. One is how to end mental health, how to
chronic pain,
how to end chronic pain, and how to deal with mental health naturally, how to transform mental health naturally.
And there's a chance that we're frozen, but we will continue on. And the link, you will see the link. We see a lot of people talking about the link. The link, it's been posted several spots. So hopefully you will see that link. If not, continue to post it again.
So stop talking for a second.
We're going to have to swap some computers. So sorry for that. But there's going to be a quick interlude and we're going to be back shortly, okay?
Don't go anywhere because the prizes are coming.
If you're in chat right now and you can hear us, let us know that you can hear us.
They should be able to, hopefully. The mic is swapped over.
Okay, everybody. Can you guys hear me? Just want to make sure. Check. We are fixing some tech issues and then we're going to be full on swinging back, okay? Because this ain't going to get me down. We just have the screen is an issue for us. And then we can't hear.
Thanks for your patience if you're still with us.
There we go. We are back.
Okay, we've changed out the computer. We don't think we're going to have this problem anymore. Keep your fingers crossed. We should be good. Hi, thank you guys so much. Everybody stayed put, so thank you. All right, Dr. Maggie, do you want to go over one more time what's at stake here? Because I know it's been a little bit back and forth. What people can get. You buy the book today. $2.99 is the special ebook price.
Yep.
And if you buy
one book, you're going to be not only getting the bonuses that come with the book, number one. Number two, we're going to be also the transformative protocols, the book, you're going to be getting that. And 10 or more, you'll be getting 2 workshops. But more importantly, let's go back to the problems that this book solves. A couple things about the problems that the book solves. Number one, we talked about POTS, dysautonomia. We talked about mast cell activation and histamine intolerance. How many people have autoimmune disease?
Yeah, and I've been seeing people putting down whether they have a diagnosis or whether they suspect they do. So many comments about that.
I wish that more people could see all the comments that were flashing up that already passed, but so many people, okay, think about how many people have rheumatoid arthritis. Did you guys know diabetes is an autoimmune disease? Also, people with ulcerative colitis, Crohn's. We're going to be bringing on people with Sjogren's, gastroparesis, really impossible to solve autoimmune diseases.
Jan says, I have RA. I saw somebody earlier.
Scleroderma. I eat scleroderma for breakfast. Give me some lunch. Come on.
And listen, that I know is a tricky one. I speak from experience with that. And it can be a scary diagnosis. But Dr. Maggie, I know, I do get emotional when I even talk about that. But she's got you. She knows how to get to the root of what's causing your problems. And she knows how to get you feeling better.
Yeah, so autoimmune diseases for me are not difficult to solve because for me, when we look at autoimmunity, what people do is the medications that we use to deal with autoimmunity. Think about prednisone, think about Humira, think about methotrexate, some of these drugs. Most of these drugs are targeting to shut off a certain part of your immune system. And yes, while shutting off a certain part of the immune system may be helpful in temporarily helping some of the symptoms of that particular autoimmune disorder, the other issue that comes up for me is, and I'm not anti-drugs, okay? The other issue that comes up is that if you shut off a certain part of your immune system, the immune system is there to do a job, meaning it's there to fight infection and it's there to also fight cancer in your body. So the 2 biggest side effects of drugs that actually shut down your immune system are going to be more infections, and some of them life-threatening, as well as increased risk for cancer. We just paused again. There you go. So therefore, this is why it's really important for me that in autoimmunity, there are other root causes with which I like to work with people to have your immune system work for you instead of against you, right?
That sounds better.
And I like the idea that drugs are just an option, but not your first and only option. We're currently in a system where when we're dealing, whether it's mast cell, whether it's POTS, whether it's autoimmunity, drugs are always the first and only answer, when for me, there's like a million other choices. So I love education. So this is why
you do consider yourself, I mean, clearly you're a wonderful doctor, but you're an educator as well. And you consider yourself, you pride yourself in honestly being an educator.
Yeah.
And that is what you do in your program. And now that's what you're doing through this book. And it's what you did while you were working with all of your patients in private practice as well.
It was impossible in private practice to be a teacher. And that's why.
And talk about the limitations. Yeah. Why was that so hard?
Well, I mean, for me, like if in my story, when I went through the things that I went through a lot of hormonal hell after the birth of my first child. Didn't know that that was the issue. And then after the birth of my second child, sealed the deal. And then at the age of 36, I went into full-blown early menopause.
And you were told that that was normal.
Yeah, I had an FSH. For those of you who are in the know, if you do a blood test called an FSH, if it's like over a certain number, you're in menopause. I was like literally 80. So it was like, oh, Maggie, you're in menopause. And I was age 36.
And you were saying, why is this happening? This doesn't seem like this should be happening. And they said, well, you're just at that age then. And you're saying, well, wait, I'm 36.
No, they said, you're just getting older. It's just early menopause for you. And there was no explanation. And so that started my journey, because I knew that the traditional medical system that I was trained in, that I was delivering care in, didn't solve the problems that I had, didn't have any answers. I was told to get on birth control pills, antidepressants. I was told to go get therapy. I was told to get on pain meds, right? And I was like, and meanwhile, I was going, like, I was losing my mind. And if anybody has gone through perimenopause and menopause, you feel like you're losing your shit, excuse my French. And that happened to me at 36 with 2 young children.
Right. And so you knew there had to be a better way. So it set you on the path to finding out solutions for yourself. And that was not easy, because there wasn't a playbook that you could just read.
I like that we named. I love naming things. I love the fact that I named a playbook. So for me, yeah, I had to go outside my own box. I had to learn from a variety of different people. I had to, really look and say, what is bioidentical hormones? What is hormone testing? How come just taking hormones can be a solution and then not be a solution? Why does it stop working on some people while in others it doesn't? And then I realized there were layers that went into it, which is, wow, the thyroid really went into it. And the labs that I was taught to test on thyroid was wholly, absolutely inadequate. And then on top of that, realizing, oh, not only did I have a thyroid problem that none of my doctors and I didn't diagnose, but I had an autoimmune thyroid disorder. I actually have autoimmune disease. And that opened up Pandora's box in that I built a practice where not only were we doing primary care family medicine, but we started to do a lot of bioidentical hormone evaluations. And then I realized that there were certain people who had just so many problems with their hormones that weren't easily fixed just by giving hormones. And then in my own case, that's what happened. And I realized autoimmunity was the issue. And then it ended up expanding into the largest.
You kept getting more and more people that had these problems that were coming into your practice. So
Right.
You had the biggest case studies of anybody.
We had 12,000 patients in our integrative functional medicine clinic here in Oregon. And to me, it was the biggest population of autoimmune people that was in one clinic. And that was a breeding ground for me to really think about what are some of these underlying causes? What can I do in a clinic setting? What can't I do in a clinic setting? Why do some people in what way can I think bigger? Can I think out of the box? And how did I solve my own problem that wasn't just going to a doctor's office over and over again?
And so that's when you said, hey, how will I have the most reach? I'm going to create a space where people can meet with me online and a program that's online. And
I wanted to teach.
Started with one program back in the day.
Yeah, I wanted to teach. I was like, I see all these causes, I see all these pieces, but they're disconnected for everybody. I mean, and for regular medical doctors, there's no connection, no education around it made. But I also saw a problem in the naturopathic and functional medicine world in that there was no functional medicine at that time, number one. Number two, in the naturopathic world, they weren't gathering all the pieces of the medical side of it that I knew, the scientific side of this. Can we get those together? All my medical smarts, MD smarts, all the naturopathic holistic training in this body that went through all these hormonal issues and autoimmune issues. Can I figure out how to solve this better? How do I put that together? And I said, I have to teach people this.
You had to make it an educational program.
Right. And so this is almost 8 years ago that I started our first program, which was Transform Fundamentals program. And that was to teach people how to turn around their autoimmune issues, utilizing their own data, their own testing, their own results, their own training.
And they're getting time with you as well.
Absolutely.
You're actually able to then spend the time.
Yeah.
It's not like a doctor's office where you're rushed out in 5-10 minutes.
I had one client who actually calculated the number of hours by the end of, just at the end of like several months of working with us. She calculated the total number of hours that she had spent with us being educated, interacting with us, learning and all that. She counted thousands of hours.
Oh my.
Yeah.
And then you can do so much of it on your own time as well with all of the information in Transform University.
Yeah.
So I know you must have been getting a lot of requests then saying, Dr. Maggie, how can you get all of this information then boil it down to the masses?
Well, I want to have everybody, if you haven't gotten the ebook, can you guys go and grab the ebook right now? And even if you've gotten the hard copy of the book, I would encourage you to get today's bonus, because today, when you buy the book today, not only is the ebook at $2.99, number two is you also get the whole book for the transformative protocols, all the protocols I created over the last 28 years on one book as well. So if you want that, click over to Amazon using a browser and just grab the book for $2.99 right now. I'm curious what number we're at in Amazon right now.
I know we're supposed to be getting some live updates throughout this broadcast, so we'll have to keep you posted, because even before the official launch day, the word was getting out.
We're already number 8.
It was number 8 on the charts.
Yeah.
So that should tell everybody something about this book and how exciting it is that it is now today on sale for $2.99. Hopefully that's accessible for everybody to get a copy.
as I run through the chapters. Can you check on the sound?
Sure, and I'll be right
great.
back.
All right, everybody. So a couple things. Anybody who has the book, grab the book right now. And if you have already gotten the ebook, we're going to be running our first contest. Okay. And the first contest that we're going to be running, get the ebook and make sure you open it. Okay. If you guys can open it, that'll be really great. And if you have the physical book, get the physical book. What I'm going to do is I just actually want to run through the 8 lessons that are here. I'm going to run through the names of the 8 lessons, and I'm going to be asking you guys to do something, and you're going to be qualified to win something, okay? So everybody who already has the book, already has the ebook, make sure you open the ebook, okay? And get over to the table of contents. How many people already are at the table of contents? Type it in chat if you're already there. I'm like, I need to get to the table of contents. What page is that on, everybody? Does anyone know the page of the table of contents? There we go. All right. We are on the table of contents. All right, everybody, open that in your book. And what I would like to do is, for all of you who already have the book and already have the ebook, and if you haven't got the ebook, go get it because there's going to be chances to win later. Oh my God. Thank you, everybody. All right. I'm going to go through each of the 7 lessons by name, and I would like for you guys to be ahead of me. What is the name of chapter 1 and lesson 1? Type it in chat. For every single comment that you enter in here, you're going to be entered to win because we're going to be giving away 2 of a program we haven't launched yet. We have a mini program, and it's called Turbocharge My Digestion.
Oh.
There's going to be 2 lucky winners, and it's going to be based on the number of comments you give, based on the title of the chapter that I'm going to be referencing ahead of me. You're going to be beating me to the punch. So number 1, what is the name of the first chapter, everybody? The first lesson is going to be...
Go ahead and type it in.
What is lesson number 1? What is lesson number 1? Do you guys know?
We're giving him just a second. Yes, so many people chiming in.
Lesson number 1 is leading with curiosity, and that's how I want you guys to approach this book. You're gonna freaking lead with curiosity. Who's there with me? All right.
Yes.
And I'm gonna tell you guys something. There are 2 guests that are gonna be coming on today that inspired the chapter Leading with Curiosity. So I have my mentors. I have people who inspired me, and they're going to be on today. So the first 2 guests we're going to be are in Leading with Curiosity, just so you guys know. All right.
Mentioned by name.
I know.
This is pretty exciting.
Number 2, and are we dealing with the sound?
Yeah, they say we should. It should work when it needs to work.
Awesome. So number 2, lesson 2. What is lesson 2? For every entry you put in there, even if you copy somebody else, I'm going to highly recommend you have the physical book in front of you. And if you have the ebook right now, open up the ebook to the table of contents. All right. Yes. The whole name. Digestion is the first domino. And I'm going to ask how many people in chat have learned from me, whether it's from YouTube or in one of our programs, that digestion was your linchpin. How did it solve your digestion problem? Type it in chat.
So important, and it's something that nobody is talking about.
Right? Digestion, the first domino. And for those of you guys, I'm just letting you guys know, the people with POTS, the people with mast cell, you might want to read that chapter first.
And that is something I do want to note about this book, and you even say it in here. It's okay to hop around in this book.
Yeah. You know what's really cool about the book is that you can hop around. There are 8 lessons in there, right? There's also a glossary in the back, but there's a whole, and behind. So I love the thing where, you know, my patients, I'm not the most patient person, okay? So at the end of each chapter is action steps. So if you're like, I don't want to read the chapter, I just want to know exactly what to do, go to the end of the chapter and look at the action steps.
It's like the cliff notes, the spark notes. It helps us out. Yes. And then you can go through later on, perhaps when you want to spend some time on it, and really delve into the whole chapter. But yeah, you give the summary at the end.
Well, I love that. And then the other thing is there's this personal note-taking section here in the back, which is called Your Personal Action Plan. So you know how people will highlight in the notes and all that? This is what I'm going to recommend. If you're going to highlight, that's cool. But what I want you to do is the sections you highlight, write the page number in the personal action plan and put one note of one thing that you want to implement from there.
Yeah, people are saying they love that approach. It's super helpful because you can pick this up and you can come back to it. You don't have to sit down. Although I will say you could sit in one reading and read this book because it is that intriguing. You learn so much information from it. But if you want to hop around and come back and then go revisit it, you can do that as well.
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay, so that was
lesson number 2. Okay, more ways to win, everybody. I'm going to have you start typing. What is lesson number 3? Be ahead of me, everybody. And if you haven't gotten the ebook, there's a link. We're going to put the link in chat. Go jump over and get the ebook. It's ridiculously at $2.99 today, just so you guys know. So go press the link, get on a browser, go get the book, because there's going to be contests all throughout the day. Lesson number 3 is
the gut. They're typing it in. It is coming in by the hundreds, it seems. The gut. Getting off the merry-go-round. Now, what do you mean by that, the merry-go-round?
Well, I actually think order really matters. So I love the fact that you could hop around this book. But one of the things I really teach in all our programs is that the order with which we approach the gut is really important. I think the way that currently naturopathic and functional medicine approach and saying that it all starts with the gut, and they go and they basically, I mean, how many of you have done this where you gone to a naturopathic functional medicine doc to get the $1 million stool testing?
It's expensive
because it all starts with the gut. It's over $1,000 to find, it's this infection, is that infection, is that infection, right? And then only to find you spend, $1,000 on the test, 10 grand, 10 months later, the infection didn't clear or partially cleared, and yet it's coming back over and over and over again.
I see it.
How many of you been on the Candida merry-go-round?
Yes.
How many of you been on the SIBO merry-go-round?
People.
Right? And even on the long haul merry-go-round right now.
Yeah, Kim says so expensive for nothing.
Right? And what I love to solve, that's an impossible problem for a lot of people to solve, but it's not impossible for me. And it's encapsulated in the chapter, the gut, the merry-go-round, because the order is wrong. To me, if you go to a doc, even if they're a functional doc, and you're like, I'm going to deal with the infection, to me, it's the same as going to the tail of a lizard, beating it up, and then saying, oh my gosh, it's dead. And then looking up 2 months later, the head and the body of the lizard is still there. Tail is grown back. It's still there, right? So it's really important for people to know that I think that gut infection is literally a victim.
Okay.
It's one of the targets of all these other pieces that are missing. And it's the end result of other pieces, like when we talk about digestion, not leading with curiosity. When we look at all these other chapters, when you don't deal with these other problems, you end up with the victim and the result of having gut infections. That is the real big problem right there.
This is resonating with a lot of people because they're typing in what their own personal merry-go-round has been, whether it's H. pylori, whether it's whatever infection, long haul that they're dealing with. They've been on that merry-go-round. And I think they're ready to get off. Are we ready to get off the merry-go-round?
Well, and that's why I called the gut the merry-go-round. It's like, I think the gut is important, but it's not starting with infection at the tail of the beast at all. Don't start with the behind is what I'm saying. We got to deal with the head and the heart of the problem.
Okay.
All right. Lisa's already jumping the gun. Lisa Carpenter.
Ready.
I love
She's
it.
ready.
All right. The next chapter is going to be certainty about food is required. Okay. It's just required. How many of you are dealing with food trauma?
It's not optional.
How many of you planning your lives around bathrooms?
Yeah.
How many of you canceled work or trips or outings or have to plan your entire life around
social engagements? I mean, I actually personally do know what this is like to not really want to go and be social, not really want to accept those invitations to go out to a meal with your friends because you do have food trauma, and it can be scary for people to have a meal out at a restaurant. So many people I know can relate to that.
So I'm going to go against the grain. Okay, everybody, this is, you might want to write down some notes here. Dr. Maggie's going to go against the grain. Please don't go on another elimination diet. Please, 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 please don't.
Go against the grain.
So dorky.
Hey.
Oh my God.
We're having a sleepover tonight, by the way. So just imagine.
We're doing masks and everything. She wants to
curl
curl my hair.
I want to curl her hair. I'm going to put facial patches on her.
Frownies.
I'm a big proponent of frownies. Yes. If you don't know what that is, it's another somewhat natural kind of treatment. Anyway,
back to food.
Yes.
Certainty about food is required. And for me, elimination diets are not, look, they're generalized. They're generalized for everybody and personalized to no one. Please don't go on another one. Number 2, they're not meant to be long-term. And number 3, when you do an elimination diet where you eliminate 30 to 50% of food on the planet, necessarily you're going to eat a shit ton of something else.
Right. And then what's that going to do?
Exactly. When that's the thing that's actually causing the problem. How many people here, someone said bold, I know, right? Bold. How many of you guys can boldly claim that you went on an elimination diet and you're no better for it or you're worse? I would like you to put that in chat. All right. That'd be really great. So for me, there are solutions. And for me, I had to create a system, and it's called the food mapping system. to deal with all these ambiguities, all the food trauma that people have around food.
Yeah, because, and explain this a little bit more, because some people don't understand. There's like, well, maybe I've had food mapping done before.
No,
you haven't if you haven't worked directly.
Food mapping is a system that I created. It's not just about a test, because for me, in order to really deal with all the food trauma, all the food reactions, there's all these different layers to it. And one of the layers we already referenced, which is digestion, is the first domino. Many of you guys are having digestion. Look at this thumbs up. Many of you guys are having digestion related food reactions that has nothing to do with food allergies. And then you go kissing all the wrong frogs, trying to pay, either $30 for a mail order or $3,000 for a doctor ordered test, right? And the fact of the matter is 50% of your reactions are actually linked to digestion. So how important is it to master your digestion?
Critical.
Huge. So for me, the food mapping system involves understanding what is going on with your digestion, what the steps are, what steps are broken, and how to fix it. Step 1. Step 2, you got to get the right test. And I will tell you, kissed a lot of frogs. Yeah, right here. I've dealt with at this point, about 11,000 patients and ran about 11,000 of these tests. And there's a lot of bad testing out there for food sensitivities. So really had to dial down to what are the good tests. And even the best test, number 3 here, this is where I'm the teacher. And I'm going to ask everybody who's an alumni who's gone through food mapping with us. We have a food mapping program, everybody. And if you're interested, we can put a link in chat for the food mapping program. But we specifically have a food mapping program where we use your data and we actually teach you your data, what's hidden patterns that are in it.
And this is something that you can only get by working with somebody like Dr. Maggie that understands this, that has decades of experience in dealing with this and tens of thousands of people that you have, evaluated. And because I noticed there are patterns that you are able to detect.
Yeah.
You're able to see if it's a false positive, if it's a false negative.
There's a lot of false positive and negative. So on a bad test, everything will light up and everybody thinks, and your doctor, the one who ran the test, is going to tell you, oh, you're allergic to everything. That's not true. Excuse my French. Oh, by the way, fair warning, I'm a fan of the cursey words. So I'm going to tell you that if you ever did a test with somebody else and you think it's food mapping, it ain't. You did a test and you were told you were allergic to everything. I'm going to call that utter BS.
And I love the alumni chiming in. Jill saying bananas and pineapple.
That's it.
That's it.
Right? Jill, all those years, and it was bananas and pineapples. How about that? Right? And meanwhile, people would go on these, and someone just said, Cynthia just said gluten and dairy were mine. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Right? We just had another person who was just almond. Eva just said
just bananas. Just bananas. That's bananas.
Someone says sore forearm, ear lettuce. I think it was just lettuce for William over there. And how many people got food freedom going through food mapping? So for me, it's about getting the right tests, but also me educating. We have an instructor team. We have an instructor certification program. We have instructors that actually train you on how to understand those results accurately. And why is that important? Because it's not just you. You're going to want your kids and your family to do that because genetically they share 50% of the food sensitivities that you have. We teach that.
And you, additionally, though, you do have some really great lessons in this book also about this.
I do. And there's, by the way, keep going with the comments because we're going to the next chapter. Yes, certainty about food is required. If you want to learn more about our food mapping, it's called My Food Mapping Masterclass. You can head over to the website and check it out.
And that is new. This is brand new.
It started in January.
By popular demand.
Yeah. So what happened was food mapping was in our main program that deals with autoimmunity and chronic health issues. It was not separate or separated as a separate thing. Yeah. And so by popular demand, after 8 years of people begging food mapping to be separate, we started My Food Mapping Masterclass in January. Huge success. We've had over 100 people already go through the program with huge results. And so check out myfoodmappingmasterclass.com if you want to check that out.
Okay, people are already, they're ready. They're chiming in with the next chapter.
I think Gay really wants the prize. Jan really wants the prize. I see it. All right. The next chapter is on blood sugar mastery. And we're going to have guests coming on where that was linchpin for them. We have stories in this book, just so you guys know. And some of those people that are the real life cases are showing up here on this live on the book launch today. So I'm really excited about that.
I can't tell you how many people, alumni that I've interviewed that have worked with you that say, I could never have imagined what an issue blood sugar was for me or how important blood
Yeah.
sugar was for me.
Yeah.
And as you and I like to kind of joke around, blood sugar, it's not BS.
No.
It really is that critical.
That's the pillar, though, most people think they don't need help on.
Yeah.
And that's the pillar that people get the quickest and biggest results on, especially with mast cell dysautonomia, hormonal imbalances, insomnia,
Pain.
anxiety, and pain and headache. Like, it's crazy. That blood sugar mastery chapter, people, get it and nail it. Okay? Just get it and nail it.
Sandra says, did not know it was a problem.
Right?
Didn't know.
And yeah, exactly. So that's the blood sugar chapter. And then next, we're going to go to the next chapter. This is really important. There's a whole masterclass around this. Okay. What is the next lesson in the book? If you guys could pop it in chat, that'll be really great.
Yeah, you know it's going to start populating.
Ooh.
Jody, hi Jody.
I can't wait, Jody.
Jody and Jim, say hi to Jim as well.
Julie, I love it. Thank you. And Julie has an interview. Many of the people that you're seeing here, they've been interviewed. We on our YouTube channel. If you're watching us from YouTube right now, make sure you comment. Let me know you're watching from YouTube, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. But on our YouTube channel, we have over at this point 300 to 400 alumni interviews, case studies, and Julie's one of those interviews. I would love Julie to type in chat, or anybody that's an alumni that have given us a case study. What are some of the things they've overcome, right? The next chapter is it's just your hormones. And also, it can't be your hormones.
And I can hear you writing. In fact, by the way, when you're reading this book, you can really hear Dr. Maggie's voice, your point of view. It shines through. And so that makes it enjoyable as well.
Yeah. So in hormones, just so you guys know, there's a lot in there. And I consider what my greatest life's work is. Number one is the food mapping masterclass. But number two, my first love is going to be hormones. And that's why my hormone masterclass is my first love. And in our main program, we have a huge hormonal piece. The most misunderstood. How the hell can a 36-year-old smart, physician like me be in early menopause at the age of 36 with no explanation whatsoever, except that I was getting older? Yeah, no, They wouldn't even test my hormones. I had to beg.
Wouldn't even test it. But then even if they did test them, what information would that have gleaned?
Nothing. And the reason is you have to test your hormones accurately. There are ways to test your hormones accurately. I have tons of training. If you get the book right now, today, part of it is the hormone certainty course that you're going to be getting. When you get the book, there's going to be bonuses with the book. So hop over and get the book. There's a hormone certainty course you don't want to miss. That's a bonus for buying the book. And in there, I talk about a hormonal timeline that you can develop. I also talk about what are the best ways to test hormones. Okay. It's important to test your hormones accurately. Number one, Dave says, Dr. Hormone. Thank you. Number two, not only do you have to test your hormones accurately, what I tell people is when we get the results, there are hidden patterns in the hormones. So a lot of doctors will just look and say, is that in the normal range? Oh, you're fine. Each of these in the normal range. That's not what the pattern is about.
And if they're not in the normal range, you say, oh, maybe we need to give you a little something. Not
okay.
the right approach.
Maybe not, right? It depends. So one of the things I see, like in the Sixth Sense, the movie, he sees something.
I see dead people.
I see patterns. So I teach providers and regular people like you how to look at your hormones and the relationship of each hormone to each other to see the pattern.
So important. In fact, somebody just said, you diagnosed me with hidden PCOS. I guarantee you that's not, no other practitioner will ever come to you and figure that out. Nobody will. And I know it for a fact because I have it too. And I tried for so long to get information.
We actually reviewed your hormones on one of our lives.
We did, yes. Because it was so big for me. It was so groundbreaking. It's the whole reason why I found you in the first place. Yep. You said it was your first love, and it is my love for you as well. Because this is, I mean, you shine in all of these areas, but you're so good at this and nobody else is.
Well, and Lori just wrote right there, she found out she had hidden PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, right? How many people have hidden PCOS? I was recently on a live summit where I was talking about how PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, is like a secret epidemic that's causing people to not be able to lose weight, have cardiovascular disease, have
link to it with pre-diabetes.
Right. And it's a hormonal issue. So that's like a huge hidden pattern. I'm just like jumping and thumping about. So there's tons of videos that I've done on YouTube and in our programs around hidden PCOS. That's just one of the many patterns.
Yes.
Right. And it's also linked with autoimmunity. Hormones and autoimmunity are linked. Hormones and POTS is linked. Hormones and mast cell are linked, just so you know. Right.
Blow that. Yeah. once you get through that chapter, you will have a lot of ahas. I know you always want to know, what are the ahas from this book?
Yeah. And
You're
I will
gonna get
tell
them.
you, those of you who already did read the hormone chapter, if there's one action that you decided to take, I want to know what that is. Okay. And in the meantime, I do want to let you guys know that when you get the ebook, you will get all the bonuses that go with the book. Okay. So whether it's an ebook or the physical book. So by all means, because the ebook is $2.99 right now, jump on and get the ebook for $2.99. But there are QR codes in here where you can redeem your bonuses, whether it's the ebook or the physical book. So hop on it. And we are talking about hormones. So I want to make sure everybody knows that I do have a program called My Hormone Masterclass, and it literally is myhormonemasterclass.com. So if you're interested in working with us on balancing your hormone, getting the right test, getting the right education, and then knowing the hundreds of tools, by and large, most of the time, the question I get when people come to our hormone program is, "Oh, I'm taking hormones. Can you help work with me?" Of course I can.
Yes.
"Oh, I had a hysterectomy. Can you work with me?" You need
Yes.
me even more. "Hey, I'm taking birth control pills. Can I work with you?" You need me even more. Right? Or "I can't tolerate any supplements. Can you work with me?" Yes.
Yep.
You need me even more.
No, it's true. And that does happen a lot. And there's ways that you know exactly the approach to take.
Yeah. Kim said it's powerful too. I fear not remembering all the hormone information in the coming years. That's why it's really awesome to be able to retest your hormones, review the materials in our programs over again. I really advocate that. Do hormones change the rest of your life? I'm asking Kim, and I'm asking all the alumni out there.
Like, will your hormones continue to change?
Well, our hormones are one and done, right? And if it's a one and done, maybe one visit with the doctor, you think you're going to solve the problem.
Great.
For me, that's not what solves these complex hormone problems. And hormones will continue to change for the rest of your life.
And you want to have them balanced for the rest of your
So
life.
I'm interested in teaching you the skill set. What is the skill set that you need to test and balance your own hormones for the rest of your life, so that if you did need a doctor, it'd be an accoutrement, some fairy dust that you need, right?
Ooh.
But what about the other 99 tools that you have that I'm going to give you? That's what we do in our hormone programs.
Goes back to the education.
Right. Huge.
Okay, the next chapter.
What is it?
Okay, that was lesson 6. So lesson 7, creating experiences for your health transformation.
Well, that's the other piece. This is an experience live right here. Okay. I struggled with clinical medicine, where it was, for me, literally a cattle call warehouse, where I got 10 minutes, 15 minutes with people. I didn't get to really teach them. I didn't spend any time with them. They didn't learn any skill set. We didn't level up in any way, right? And so for me, my superpower is I want to create experiences for people, because you know what? When you have an experience of something, whether it's learning, looking at your own data, learning from us directly, working with us directly, or you're seeing Jill's results reviewed and you're remembering Jill's story, or you're listening to this interview where Irene's going to be coming on next and you're going to be hearing about her story. You may not remember everything that is about hidden PCOS, but I sure as heck, you're going to remember Irene's story, right? That's called experiential learning. I create learning experiences that become unforgettable because we're sharing people's experiences, and you're sharing your experience. And when you share experiences, you also feel. When you tie emotion to education and you tie stories to it and people to it, you remember.
Yeah, it does. It helps it really sink
Right?
in.
So that's why I'm saying, how are you going to create experiences in your health?
Kim says, I love the immersive experience you create.
Well, and Kim, you just recently joined one of our classes. So I would love for you to share what your experience has been like. You're new to us. What has it been like being in one of our programs? What is that experience like for you, Kim? And how is it different? People don't realize the power of education, the power of community, and the power of stories and the experiences.
You
and
hit
that's
on it with community as well. And Cynthia said, I still meet with my group, her community that she went through this with, for the last 2 years.
Cynthia, I love that comment. I wish someone could highlight that. Everyone could see that. That'd be awesome. Look at that. So what happens is, when people do our programs, especially our main program, we work so intensely together for a period of time, and that community continues. So even 2 years later, Cynthia's meeting with her pod. We have pods and we have pod leaders. She's still meeting with the pod.
I'd love to see that.
I know, isn't that our longest running pod right now? By the way, is 4.5 years young, and they're still going. They still meet once a month, just so you guys know.
Well, it's so helpful. And somebody else I know wrote, you feel like you're not alone. And isn't that the truth? That's so nice to be able to. I think we can. Yeah, we're getting a little behind the scenes information. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it is so good to feel like you have this community and you're not alone, and you can feel that through this book as well by getting this information.
So before we're going to have our first guest come on. Before we do that though, I want to know all of you guys that did the chapter, run through the chapters with us. We didn't get through to the last chapter, and I'm going to wait till our guest arrives who inspired the last chapter to go through the last.
Oh, okay, I like that.
The last chapter.
People are they're jumping the gun on it there.
I also want to make sure my earpiece is in, but every comment that you guys have popped in qualified. We have 2 winners. We have 2 winners that are going to be. Oh, look at that!
That was fancy.
2 of you who did the chapters are going to win our mini course, Turbocharge My Digestion. We haven't even released the course to the public, so it is a do-it-yourself mini course on how to turbocharge and fix your digestion. So everybody who said digestion was your first domino or want it to be, Turbocharge My Digestion is coming out in the next month, just so you guys know. But 2 people are going to be winning Turbocharge My Digestion, and I would love for our team in the back behind the scenes to type in the 2 names of the 2 people that won Turbocharge My Digestion. If you could type that in chat, I would love to announce who that is.
Love to see it.
Dun, 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 dun. Wait,
let us know.
Hold on. I think
you're trying to get the balloons to come back. Yay, Betty!
And the winners are.
Okay.
I can't see.
Christy Foster
and Carol Miro. You 2 are the winners of Turbocharge My Digestion. We'll be typing your name in chat right now. Number 2 is make sure the people who are winners here, we're going to pop an email, which is support@8outofthebox.com. If you guys can email your information and your prize to the email that's going to be put into chat right now, this is how you're going to claim your prize. Okay, everybody, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Congratulations. To the 2 winners.
Yeah, that's really exciting. And thank you everybody for playing. Don't go away because we are going to have more contests and giveaways and exciting things to come as well. Right, Dr. Maggie?
Absolutely. Okay. And we're ready to bring in our first guest.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Okay. All the way from?
Well, actually now from England. When we first met her, she was coming to us from Norway, but now she's coming to us from the South England. And actually I went and looked up the area where she lives. Quite beautiful. Without further ado, let's bring her on in.
Irene.
Hi,
hello.
Hello, my friend.
Hi.
I just have to say, you look wonderful, and you have been a person transformed inside and out from when I first met you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You feel that as well?
Oh yes, yeah. I feel a different person now. Yeah.
She's up late in England. This is late her time. So I would love to dig in. Like, Irene, can you share with everybody where you were just, a year and a half ago?
Yeah, I was in Norway, obviously. And I was more or less bedridden from a long list of symptoms and problems with my gut. And I was dizzy so much that I couldn't drive. The list is long, and there was almost no more hope, but I never give up. So I was searching for somebody to help me, and I found you.
She was leading with curiosity. She wasn't going to stop.
Well, that's the thing is a lot of people are like, oh, you're in the United States. And the truth is we work with people globally, and there's so many people, no matter what country that they're in. We have tons of international clients. And Irene, how did you find me? Who referred you to us? How did you find me?
I found you, I think it was through Facebook, because I was following a couple of other doctors like you, functional doctors. And I was trying to find somebody who resonated with me and with, I think it was all the case studies or the case interviews you did.
When I think about her symptoms, a lot of people have symptoms like that and they don't realize they have POTS or dysautonomia. I mean, you were at the point where you were fainting, multiple ER visits. You couldn't even drive.
Yeah.
And this has gone on for how many years?
More or less 6 years.
too long. And then on top of that, the fatigue. I remember you said the fatigue was so debilitating. You couldn't even walk, couldn't get out of bed. If you could, it was hard to walk to the mailbox.
It was difficult for me to walk just a short distance because I was feeling I was falling and fainting, and I was near to fainting all the time, more or less. So at least it felt like that. And
I think a lot of people can relate.
Well, I think even early in the program, she even fainted and had an ER visit. Right. And then this was like the first week or two. And I was like, just you wait in a couple of weeks. Just
this
you
is
wait.
Gonna be gone.
So here's the thing. A lot of people out there, and there's a lot of countries where the doctors and I just had another client from Sweden who said her doctor didn't believe POTS is real or dysautonomia is real. Meanwhile, they're effing up with people's lives here. Irene had this for 6 years. I mean, that's unacceptable to me. It utterly makes my blood boil. But here's the cool thing. When I see someone like Irene, I get super pumped and excited because I'm like, holy heck, the opportunity. I would love, Irene, can you share with the audience where you are at today, a year and a half later?
I love to hear this.
Oh, yeah. I can give you an example. Today, I've been... yesterday we had a late night dinner, people coming over for dinner. And early this morning we went out to look for 3 different properties. I was test driving maybe a new car.
Her new car that she had on her dream board. Maybe. Yeah.
And also I have been to I've been to the gym this evening as well. So this my
just
life
working out. And what I find so striking about your story is not only were you bedridden before and really isolated living in Norway, but now your life has changed so much. You have some big life updates. We mentioned that you moved to England. Will you tell us why you moved to England?
Why I moved to Woo. Yeah. Actually, because I felt a little bit better last spring. I was in touch with my ex, actually, and he asked me to come over to visit him. And I said, maybe later when I feel better, when I'm able to go through the security control, I might come and visit you. And I didn't believe it. But I did. And
and you felt well. You finally felt well enough to be able to get out of the house, to rekindle a romance, the first love that you had. And honestly, this would not have been possible without working with Dr. Maggie. That to me is what these are the life moments, and this is why it's so exciting. This really hits home for everybody what your life can be and how amazing your life can be if you get back on the path to health.
Someone just said, one of the people she went through programs was, we call it the Irene phenomena.
I like that.
And this isn't a miracle. It sounds and looks like a miracle. It's not a miracle. It's just a medical puzzle that we were able to solve. So what was the linchpin?
There was a few, actually, and a lot of hard work. And but the thing, the most important thing for me was obviously the hormones, the hormone test, to understand my hormone issues.
Well, what did you learn about your hormones?
I had severe PCOS. Severe, yeah. And there was no doctor. I had been testing my hormones before, but there was nothing wrong with my hormones. So
that's what they were saying.
Yeah. And also
your hormones. It's just your hormones.
It's just your hormones. It's a perfect puzzle.
So actually I was having severe hair loss because of that as well.
Yes, you had a dramatic before and after too, showing your hair, and I know a lot of people can relate to this as well, coming out in clumps.
Yeah.
Just so much coming out, and now your hair's back.
Yeah, my hair is growing, so I finally dared to cut my hair. So now I'm having short hair because of that. Because I know I trust they will grow back.
The trust that's growing in healthy.
Yeah.
Total life transformation.
I love that. So this is a dramatic transformation with POTS. I would love to bring in our next guest. Stick around, Irene, because I would love to bring Dana in. And Dana can speak for herself, but Dana's another great POTS dysautonomia transformation, and also some mast cell thrown in there. So I want you guys to see that there's different faces and different the way case studies will show up. These problems look very, I'm sure Irene and Dana felt like they were super special rare zebras, but let's take a look at what are some of the common denominators. Dana?
Let's bring her on in. Hi, Dana. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what some of your struggles were before you started working with Dr. Maggie?
Happy to. So as you mentioned, my name is Dana Nelson. I am from New York City, and I've been an alumni of Dr. Maggie's for about 2 years now.
Yes.
And for the years prior to finding her program, was really struggling, particularly with POTS. So having moments where I felt incredibly dizzy and faint, also just having blurred vision upon standing, temperature irregularities, kind of you name it. When it comes to the worlds of POTS, I was feeling it. Had pretty severe neuropathy as well, and digestion issues, particularly related to things that we don't love to talk about maybe on lives like this, but constipation really badly, and really not being able to find a solution for years that just would make me feel better, and for more than just a month or two.
I get it. And don't listen, actually, that's something I will say I noticed about this program and this community. We love talking about bowel movements. It's okay. It's not taboo because we all want to have appropriate, proper bowel movements. So talk about that constipation and talk about how it's gone. Is it gone?
It is gone. And there's actually a part in Dr. Maggie's book where she will have a little diagram for you where you can kind of where your scale is on this scale.
Well, funny you ask, because I'm going to do a contest right now for people who have the ebook and who have the actual book. Is what page is the Bristol stool scale in? Type it in chat. And we will be drawing 2 winners out of that. Whoever can figure it out of what is the page the Bristol stool score is listed under. You're looking for it.
I found it.
Oh
I
my
found
God.
it.
Oh my
Because
God.
I remember when I found it. I was like, ooh.
Back to poop.
Okay.
All right, go.
Well, again, we all do it, but why do we sometimes do it in ways that aren't the healthiest for us? And for me, I realized that one, hydration is key. I always thought I drank a decent amount of water, but one of the first things Dr. Maggie has us do in her program is a water challenge. And you have to drink, a good amount of water to actually be hydrated throughout the day. And anytime you have a caffeinated beverage, you should be drinking water. And I was not acting according to those standards. And so that was one. And 2, I did have some things I needed to fix with digestion. I realized I had low pancreatic enzymes through some additional testing, and Digest It has really changed my life. 2 years out, I still utilize it to this day, and it's helped me with my, of course, digestion when you think of it from a movement perspective, but it's helped me with my POTS as well in many ways. And digestion is so key for a wide array of symptoms, and I'm very thankful that I have Digest It now in my pocket to always carry with me.
Well, I remember Dana has a dramatic before and after picture as well. I was saying Irene did, but you did as well. Tell us a little bit more about what's changed with you physically.
Sure. I mean, a lot of things have changed with me physically. One, skin. There's a huge connection with, gut brain, but also gut skin nexus. When you think about
there was a picture. There was actually a really amazing now because where you're now, but there was a picture you shared where you were under 100 pounds. All those elimination diets, and your skin was like you said yourself, you were breaking out everywhere, and that was when you started the program. And and you shared that photo, and it's amazing. It doesn't even look like the same person.
It really doesn't.
Yeah,
no, it doesn't.
I was at the bottom of the barrel, and I really felt like the end of my rope because I was too afraid to go out and do things. I either didn't have the energy or felt afraid to go out and eat certain foods, or having to go up a flight of stairs and get dizzy. And I think I've gotten a lot of freedom back through this program, and the ability to know what I can and can't eat through the food mapping. That was huge. Being able to master my POTS through blood sugar mastery also was
POTS
like
and blood sugar.
Hand in hand.
Yeah. And
Right.
I think what's great about your program, but now this book has really democratized access to your knowledge, is that you can understand for yourself why things are happening to you. I feel like I would go to doctors, they would maybe put me on medication or this or that, but never tell me what in my system was the root cause.
Yes.
And like knowing that, I felt like I can then really be my own champion when I'm going to the doctors, or when I'm making decisions about what I'm putting in my body, or the way I exercise, things like that.
Well, yeah, you become an active member of your own medical team.
Well, and that's the thing. I totally agree. And even like looking at Dana and looking at Irene, digestion was a linchpin for Irene too, because I think, Dana, you discovered, you should share what you discovered about your digestion. Different issue, I think, than what Irene discovered about your digestion. Irene, what did you discover about your digestion?
I don't understand what you.
What did you learn about your digestion?
Because I remember going through the program, it was fat digestion.
Yeah, because when I started the program, I was having constant diarrhea.
Yeah.
And within a couple of weeks, I could eat normal again. I could go out and be social. I didn't have to stay just beside the toilet anymore. Yeah.
And then Dana, I remember we were talking around week 10, and I said, and this is true story, okay? I said, hey, Dana, do you remember, like, what's your biggest linchpin? Like, where were you before the program and after? And she said it to me at week 10. She's like, oh, my POTS symptoms have been gone since week 2. Was that you?
That was me. Yeah. I didn't even realize it. I was like, oh, I've been better, but what? Oh, wait, like literally zero POTS symptoms after years of it.
You're not the only one. I can't tell you how many people will all of a sudden be like, you know what? I forgot what my life used to be like, because those things have faded away.
That's a
what
good
a lovely
forget.
And Irene nodding right along, because I know she had that same experience of when some of these symptoms start to fade away, and some of them will fade away quickly and others take more time, but you kind of forget how far you've come. So I get that.
Great.
We have a lot of people chiming in. Do you want to announce, do we have a winner for that last?
I think we have 2 winners. We were giving away 2 turbocharge my digestion programs.
Okay, so we'll wait to get the official
Let's see in chat what it is
from our team behind the scenes, who have randomly selected 2 winners.
Lori Rolf Underwood and Gay Nyberg. The 2 lucky winners for knowing the page that the Bristol Stool Score was in the book. Thank you so much.
And there's going to be more. That's not the last. That's not the last prize,
Yep.
right?
No, that's not the last prize. But I wanted to thank Irene. I know it's late for you in England. And then Dana, thank you so much for popping in, even almost 2 years later after. But the thing about where Dana is, I love is that even these impossible, incurable things, are the results sustainable?
Yes, because how long has it been, Dana?
It's been a little over 2 years since I've, was in the program. And like, the thing that Dr. Maggie equips you with is the ability to take care of yourself. I still, have to stay up on top of things. Like I do go and get certain testing done now that I know what I should be asking my GP for. And Dr. Maggie taught me how to actually look and measure my results. And I have still access to the same type of supplements. So I know if I need to go up or down on things based off of my own data. And it's empowering what she gives you.
So her results over 2 years, Irene's results over a year and a half. You love to see that. It's not just a temporary relief from some of these symptoms. It's saying goodbye and moving on.
So I love these 2 guests because they've highlighted the importance of blood sugar, the importance of the digestion chapter, and the importance with Irene and Dana on it's just your hormones. It can't be your hormones. Thank you so much for joining us, Irene. Thank you, Dana.
My
So great to see you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. I want to remind the winners, if you have won something, make sure we're going to put an email in chat. Make sure you email support@8outofthebox.com to let us know that you won the prize and which prize it is. And then that'll be perfect. All right, everybody.
We have a very exciting guest happening next. She's getting up. We're making room. We're going to scoot on over and make some room because we have somebody that has inspired Dr. Maggie joining us live in person.
So remember we were talking about the Leading with Curiosity chapter, right? And I named specific people that actually inspired the Leading with Curiosity chapter. And here's my doctor, my friend, Brian.
Hello.
Dr. Basinger is here
so
joining
nice
us.
To meet you. I've heard a lot about you because I know Dr. Maggie continues to seek your care. Such a special relationship. And you are in the book.
Yes. Thank you for putting me in. That was a surprise when you said, check out the book.
Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what it is that you do? If you can boil it down.
I've been trying to boil that down. I take time with people, and I was originally trained in chiropractic as an assistant many years ago, and just really learned hands-on care. So very diverse connective tissue techniques, and there's in the world of chiropractic, there's little specialty techniques, and you just learn tons of different ways to work with fascia, joints, bones, organs.
Not true. I'm going to disagree with you. So when we think about chiropractics, and in my experience of having seen years of chiropractors, right, is that the chiropractic world is really focused on adjustments.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very skeptical and very shocked, but it was pure raw. I mean, sometimes desperation, but also curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
When someone said, you know what, this guy does something very different. He does it a very different way. And I'm like, what is it? I remember coming into the first visit with you where I was like, can I just give you my lowdown?
Yeah.
And I did like a lowdown of like everything that I went through with my chronic pain with TMJ, fibromyalgia, neuropathy, you name it. And then you listened. And you looked at me and you're like, I got you. And, but then you explained, and you're not focusing on adjustments. You do adjustments, but that's not as a chiropractor what you're really good at. There's something you do out of the box that no other chiropractor has done in my experience. What is it? Tell them the secret sauce.
If you're a chef, everyone uses salt, but if you served salt, your restaurant would be terrible. There's lots of things that go with it. Salt brings out the flavor in the foods, but with bodies, the adjustments are helpful, but that's just one small part of the whole operation of what bodies need. They need movement, without sounding too micro, oxygen, blood supply. As you're talking about hormones, they need to get the chemicals to make areas operate. Organs need to talk to each other chemically, neurologically.
And these are conversations we've had, is the connectedness, right? Yeah. Because what happens is I see, like, even when I look at like neck adjustments, a lot of times, like, there's like general adjustments of the neck that people do. But the thing is, we end up we've been working together several years, and we've had so many conversations where we talk about, like, it's the fascia. It's not even the joint. Yeah. It's the connective tissue that is under the skin. It's called the fascia, which Sue Hinsman next is going to talk about. But it's fascia that you work on more than anything else. Can you tell me why you love fascia so much and why it's the secret sauce?
I think also part of it too is I share the outlier kind of rebellious side too, is when you're a chiropractor.
I love outliers. I am an outlier. I attract outliers.
And a rebel. Yes, and a rebel. So my rebellious side is I do adjust people. That's probably 20 minutes of my day. The rest of the 8 hours is listening and educating, and then hands-on work. Chiropractic means hand practitioner.
So, not adjuster only.
It doesn't mean adjustment. It means a hand practitioner. So it's been boxed in a little bit in America toward adjustments, but it is a practitioner that uses their hands versus other tools.
This is really coming together for me. And I just want to ask you, while he's here, how did his approach then inspire you?
I have never had body work on my body the way that Dr. Basinger and his team has done.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking like 20 plus years of chronic pain from many variety of reasons, right? And even on the very first visit, I recall the first visit was, it's all the fascial adhesions around your chest. And it was, I mean, trust me, it wasn't easy. It would be a lot easier to just go and say, hey, chiropractor, adjust me here, and I hope my pain is gone.
Right.
But it was, no, you have all this network of fascia that's really stuck around the chest, and it's like pulling your ribs in a certain way, and it's causing this tension up your neck and your jaw. And we got to like really work on, it's going to take me this number of visits, but we're going to hands-on work on you, literally to release and free the fascia physically. And that's never happened in my life, in my career, until literally this man touched me.
So it was an out of the box approach.
It was an out of body experience in my body.
So I think the other part too of like how to explain what do I do that's a little different, where did it come from? It's a mechanical background. And you can take your car to the shop, and if it needs 8 hours of work, it's going to take 8 hours to do it. And you can, you know, put some different additives in, make a few little tweaks. But if you're really going to take care of the problem, you have to understand what's wrong, what's going wrong with it. And it takes time. And I call it bench time, or in chiropractic,
It takes time.
Table time.
It was literally table time, body work time. Him and his staff worked on me, and we even did pelvic floor work. I didn't even realize. First of all, how many people realize, number one, how many people here know what pelvic floor work is? Number one. Number two, how many people know that there could be a chiropractor who does pelvic floor work, who's a specialist that all these people refer to do pelvic floor work, right? I felt like I literally, I mean, when that was first, I was like, I didn't even realize I needed pelvic floor work, but boy, did I need pelvic floor work.
Well, if I can,
Please.
One of our long sessions, I do different lengths of sessions, but one of our long sessions, you and I sat down, and your list was 26 problems that you wanted to work on. So the first long session that we had was 26 issues, and it took about a half an hour to go through all of those, even though we'd already worked together. A couple months later, when we did another long session, you're at 15. And then a few months later, when we went, you had 7. And so within a 6-month window to go down from 26 issues to 7, and then
that nobody else had been able to address prior.
Correct. Or temporary relief. And again, one of the things out of your book is a priority and a sequence.
Order matters. Order of operations.
Giant, because if you do the right thing too soon, you don't get results. If you do the right thing too late, it's too late.
So if I were to rewrite this book, another edition, here's what I would add about the chapter of Leading with Curiosity, that one of the lessons Dr. Basinger has taught me is, and I've said is, that the order really matters. And there's nothing, he is the practitioner that I would say, besides me, that has shown me that the most. Because literally it's been a world, it's been a world tour around my body to figure out the right way to get rid of 26 areas of pain down to like 3.
A handful.
Right?
Just a handful now.
Exactly.
But there was an order to it, and he saw the order, and I had to trust.
Well, and I have to say, I can't see the order till we're kind of in the middle of it. And I think that's one of the other pieces in your book, points out the constraints in an insurance kind of box approach, that your hand is slapped when you have to take 20 minutes instead of the 10 to think what's happening. And that's the piece with functional medicine that's so important, is that you have to think about the person's function, not just pain and not just what's on that chart, but does the whole circus make sense? And that's what I think in your book that is great, is it's you didn't ask me what I love about your book, but this is what I love about your book is that when I read through there, I'm going, you're asking questions that a psychoanalyst would ask.
You should ask questions.
You should ask, but the other part too is you give space to give the answers. And I know that when you work with people, you also give space for them to be heard. That's different. You can have I wonder if I did that, but they don't ask. They don't test, they don't look, and then they don't get the results that you're going to get.
Gosh, this must be a kind of a very special moment for you, Dr. Maggie, because this is somebody that inspired you, who is now saying you also have inspired him, and how it's been impactful reading your book as well, and that he really appreciates this. So I just feel special sitting between the two of you at this moment, because I'm so curious. The way that you approach this is different. It is out of the box. It is in line with the way that you approach things differently. What is something when it comes to chronic pain that people are really missing and doctors are really missing? I mean, the list is long.
This is a quote of Alan Beardall, my first doctor that I worked with. Pain is an indicator. It is not a measure of function. So that was Alan Beardall back in 1983. And it sounded really mean to me at the time. I was his assistant. That sounded kind of like, geez, doc, you know, these people hurt.
Yeah.
And what happened was we wanted to get rid of pain, but you first have to look at function. And then I found my certificate, which I'll leave a copy today. Back in 2009, I took the whole clinic to Jeff Bland's functional medicine. I found my little URA functional medicine center. And one of the things I chose, where I feel like also honored to have you sitting between us, I understand her work because I chose not to do it in the medical side because I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a chiropractor to work with my hands. And at that point I had, 19 people in the clinic, and we didn't have the medical doctor prescription rights, which are so important when they come up, that you have to be able to measure, get potentially some insurance reimbursement or not. But I just thought, I can't do this right. So I stepped away and I stuck with mechanical. So to see Maggie, Dr. Maggie, is just like pom-poms come out.
Celebration.
So here's the thing, what I want to bring to our audience is this, is that the people that I mentioned in the book, whether they're clients or providers or other people that have inspired me, when I'm in their presence, it feels almost like a spiritual connection that exists. I wish, so I'm going to put it in this way. It's hard to say it in words. My wish for everyone, not just like when you get the book, but I want you, when you get the book, to get the sense of what would it be like if you could lead with curiosity. Think about some of the questions and chapters as you go through. Find and attract providers that you can connect with on this level, right? When you bring more and more of that into your life, that's when you elevate like your own experiences. And I will say, every time I see him, I say it, and I tell Linda, who's also in the book, she's my surrogate massage therapist that I work with. And I've spoken with Sue about you as well, is that every time like we have a session together and we work together, I'm like, I feel like I'm literally in like, I'm lucky. I'm like sitting in the presence of greatness, that someone has that level of curiosity, passion, and hands for manual work actually is here to actually work on me physically. And whether it's, someone working with you manually or someone working with you medically or in other ways, I want you start to look for people like this.
Right. Building your team.
They're real. They exist. Dr. Basinger exists. And he went my list to 26 down to 3.
I'm existing at the same location for 26 years. And one of the things too, that this also was asked, what was something also that popped up in the book. And when I started reading the book, like many books, you kind of want to get excited, and page 85 comes up, and scleroderma. And I started reading, and I'm like, oh shit, I have a patient that I'm treating with scleroderma. Fortunately,
I think, great.
Yes,
right. No, I say oh shit too, but it's funny. Some people say oh shit, and I'm like, no, great, right?
It's a good, because she's already lost her fingertips to the condition. She has good medical care, which is completely appropriate, but she has calcifications that show up that will break through. And we found a way to kind of ultrasound those and work through some of that tissue to get better range of motion.
Wow.
And, but the whole time I haven't worked on her stomach. That's where the
nobody works on the stomach though.
Like,
how many people have had their stomach worked on or their abdominal wall worked on?
Most everybody that comes to the office, but I was kind of myopic on the scleroderma.
But you're the rarity. You're the outlier.
Right.
I've never had anyone touch my abdomen until I came to your office.
It's where your immune system lives.
Yeah. So you're saying by reading this, it was a good reminder.
Oh, I'll see her next week. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Is I'm just going to, not apologize, but like, by the way, we'll get to these other bumps and, the things. But yeah, we got to work with the gut, because in a person with scleroderma, you can talk to them mentally and make them feel as good as possible psychologically. But if you're going to do something physical with your hands, is go to their gut. Yeah.
And literally manually work on their gut.
Yeah.
And that's what digestion is too. I'm working on the gut with people's digestion internally. You literally manually work on people's gut, and that's what people need.
Yeah. So anyway, that sparked, and I'm just like, yay. Okay. It was already worth it before page 85, but that was my
Bonus points, everybody, for Turbocharge My Digestion. I want you guys to go look through the ebook and the book and find out the page, the very first page that Dr. Basinger's name is mentioned. And we're going to choose 2 winners to win Turbocharge My Digestion. All right, go ahead and type that in chat.
That's awesome.
Ryan, thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
This was a pleasure getting a chance to talk to you. Thank you for inspiring the woman who inspires so many of us, and then how special to hear that she also inspires you in return.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Wow.
Ooh, did you see that? That came out.
Yeah, that was great. All right. What is next on our schedule?
All right, everybody. We're going to be getting ready for the second person who inspired the chapter Leading with Curiosity. And she is my friend, my mentor. And I would love to introduce Sue Hitzman.
Oh.
Welcome, Sue.
Hi, guys. Hi, Dr. Maggie.
Hello, hello. Welcome.
Thank you.
I would love for you to share with everybody, and I'm going to let everybody know how I know you, but I would love for you to share with everyone all about you and Melt Method.
Well, first of all, I want to say, Dr. Brian, what great information he's sharing. I mean, thank God people like that exist, don't you think?
Yes.
I feel like that when I'm with him, and I feel like that when I'm talking to you.
Oh, well, thank you. You know, and I mean, I have to say, like, there's so much great information in this book. And actually, as you've been talking, I've been going back through and like looking all of my very many pages of highlights and things, you know, and, you know, I mean, it's been really just such a blessing to meet you and listening to somebody who really gets it, that there's so much more than unfortunately, what our medical industry is dishing out to us, which is half of the time a bunch of crap. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be mean, but
she's a family cursey words too, just so you guys know, and that's why we're friends.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of crap. You know, but the good news is that there are people like Dr. Maggie who are steering you in the right direction, explaining how, you know, one of these like missing pieces, like the blood sugar point with pain, you know, nobody talks about that, right? And even for me, you know, I'm now in my 50s, and so I'm in menopause, and the doctors are like, you know, you're just in menopause, like deal with it, you know, and it really is. So, you know, some of your great products like the Golden Balance and everything has been really critical for me. So thank you for all the great stuff you're doing and for having me today. Yeah.
Well, and Sue, for people who aren't familiar, and if they're not familiar, they're going to want to be, but that don't know much about Melt Method, can you tell us a little bit about that and how you were able to create this?
Of course. So I'm the creator of a self-care method called the Melt Method. My background is in neurofascial science and research. And so I have tried for the last 25 years to explain to people the link between the nervous system and your fascial system. And so Melt, we basically use soft tools and a very gentle approach to try to better regulate the stress and repair processes of the nervous system by way of our connective tissue. And the problem with that is, yeah, I've got mine here too. Exactly.
I know.
I was using it this morning, lady.
They're never far.
So, you know, most people who are dealing with pain, doctors will give you anti-inflammatories or a pain reliever. And I always say it's kind of like your toaster's on fire. And the way that people deal with pain is that their fire alarm goes off and they walk over to the fire alarm and take the batteries out, but the toaster's still on fire. So we tend to be very symptom driven, and I want to get to the root cause of the problems, which is, again, this is why Maggie and I are friends, is because we're speaking the same language. My approach is to educate people on trying to understand how to identify what this accumulative stress in your fascial system is and what it feels like, so that you can identify it, so that you can treat it on your own and get out of the pain problems. So the basic protocol of Melt is very much how a manual therapist would work on you. We assess what's going on, then we treat you, and then we reassess, right? So our basic overall approach is really to empower people to understand that you have within yourself this missing link to pain-free living by rehydrating connective tissue. And maybe what I should say is, some of you guys might not know what fascia is. So fascia is the tissue in your body primarily made up of collagen and interstitial fluids that connects everything, which is why they call it connective tissue. But what recent science is also understanding is that our connective tissue has 250 million sensory nerves living in it. That's more than what's in your muscles in your gut. Okay. So when you talk about pain or a sense of something inside of yourself, when you're feeling something, you're feeling it through the fascial system. And so those sensory nerves that are living in fascia are living in this environment. And if the environment isn't stable, your sensory nervous system starts sending your brain bad messages saying, danger, danger, something's wrong. And so what we're also understanding about fascia is that it's also a system. It's a stability system. It's not just stabilizing your muscles and your joints. It's the system that is supporting, protecting, and stabilizing every cell, blood vessel, and nerve in your body. So if you've got joint problems, you have a connective tissue issue, although 100% of the time your brain's what's producing your sense of pain. If pain's chronic, you have an issue in your connective tissue known as fascia. It's not just in your mind. And again, there's the big thing, is that we need to understand that this is a renewable resource in our body. And if you understand how to address fascia, you understand what the stiff to elastic properties are all about, you can transform it from day to day and never have that accumulative tension or stress. And one of the biggest things that Maggie and I talk about is the superficial fascia, the stuff right under your skin that people want to suck out through liposuction. They scratch it away with sticks. There's so many hormones in the superficial fascial tissue. It's the most important aspect to actually care for and stimulate from day to day. So that's what we teach people how to do, is to restore the stability system so that you move more efficiently. And then if you actually have somebody like Dr. Brian that you can go to, this is amazing, but it's a great supplement so that you're actually maintaining the changes, so that you're actually getting out of the hole that you're in from the traditional medical world.
Well, so here's the thing. Like, I think one of the things I love about what you do is that education empowers an individual, right?
Yes.
Versus most people think of healthcare as a passive recipient of stuff done to them.
It's a sick care industry.
It sucks. And so for me, for the very first time in dealing with my chronic pain, there was something I could do on my own. I am smart. I am motivated. I am driven. I can learn from you. I can do it with you. There's a phone app. There's equipment. I can do this every single day. And I feel better every single day as I do it. It's not even like, oh, I'm going to do this and then maybe next year I'll feel better. The very first sequence I did was I watched you on YouTube with the neck release sequence you did that was free, available on YouTube. I did that. And that very night was the first time I had relief, like in the back of my skull from my neck in a very long time. And that's when I knew, I was like, this woman's onto something. And there's something about not wanting more stuff to be done to you, but doing things yourself for you. Like, what am I doing for me? And you use education and manual therapy, and you put it together and you allow the individual to treat themselves.
Yeah, well, that's just it. It's amazing when we have people like Maggie, right? It's amazing when we have a Dr. Brian in our world, but you have to understand that if you want to get out of pain, you have to give yourself permission to go into your body and sense what you feel and attune yourself to what's going on and what you're really feeling. And that's the thing, is when we're in pain or we have a problem, we want to tune it out. That's why people go to pain relievers and all of these other things. And then you become a bit of a victim in your body. And so it really becomes a point of the human experience and being empowered to love yourself, even with the crazy stuff that happens, all these things. But remember that the way that we manage these things is how we all learn, how the people around you learn, how you amplify the frequency of the whole universe is by not feeling like you are a victim to your life, but actually realizing that, gosh, there's something inside of me that I can help to support myself so that I can live a more abundant life. And that is really the message here, is if you realize that accumulative tension in fascia is a daily cellular process, it's happening to every single person every single day. It doesn't matter your age, your activity level, your lifestyle. It's just a natural cellular process. And now that you know that, it's like drinking water, right? You realize that this is important. You got to do it every day. And self-care is a daily self-care practice. And that's what the MELT method is. It's a simple daily self-care practice. And here's a big secret of MELT. The foundation is treating your hands and feet, because this is where all the sensory nerves are that inform your brain about what's going on through your system.
And we're getting so many comments popping in of people saying how much they love MELT. It was so impactful to you that you actually made it a part of your programs.
Many of our programs have MELT in it, just so you guys know. And in our main program, we actually ship the equipment from MELT. I mean, this is how critical it is. Dr. Brian talked about the importance of fascia. A chiropractor who does fascia work. And that saved my life. Okay. And then now we have Sue, who is a practitioner who is teaching you to do fascia work at home. And this isn't just a massage to temporarily feel better.
No.
Fascia work is critical to healing and transformation.
It's exactly. Remember, the interstitial fluids of fascia are being driven from fascia into your lymphatic system. And we all know the lymph system is your immune system. So if the fascia isn't, again, an environment that stabilizes the immune functions, you have a higher tendency towards autoimmune issues. In fact, most people who have an autoimmune issue, when we do tissue testing, your tissue is a mess. So this is something that Maggie and I worked on for a number of months, where we created a autoimmune collection specifically for you guys to walk you through step by step how to incorporate MELT into the self-care practice that Maggie is giving you. So, as you're trying to get your blood sugar balanced, which I'm telling you is probably one of the most critical things, is realizing that the blood sugar balance is the thing people miss on hormone levels, on pain, on digestive problems, on autoimmune issues. Your blood sugar balance is really critical. And fascia still plays a role in transporting all of the nutrients through your body. So if your fascia isn't healthy, you're not absorbing nutrients efficiently. And so again, I could make a link when I say fascia is the stability system. I'm not saying like, how will you balance on a Bosu ball? I'm talking about neuroelectrochemical stability. So, psychological, emotional, mental, chemical, it's all fascial related.
Well, which is why we actually, Sue and I co-created a sequence, collaborated to create a sequence, which is the hormone balancing sequence, and it's on MELT on Demand. And before each of the videos is a training that I do talk about on why certain areas are important to work on. One of the sequences is how to increase your vagal tone. And so you can actually use movement and fascial movements to improve. What's a vagal tone? Well, that's part of your autonomic nervous system. And so many people here are dealing with POTS, dysautonomia, right? Or balance issues, or mental health symptoms, or they even think sleep issues. And they don't realize the impact this has on their hormones or their autoimmunity. So there's so many, and her MELT on Demand is like this treasure trove. I'm always digging in and finding something new and sharing it with people. So not only do I have the equipment for MELT, I have MELT on Demand, and the book as well, so that I'm able to someone asked me the other day, what am I going to do for long haul? I'm like, funny you ask, because there's a respiratory sequence that she did that's really good, that when I got it, that's what I did. So I want you guys to know, I'm going to share a link to MELT, the book, the equipment with MELT, the tools.
We're going to give one away.
We're going to be right now giving away a book and a hand and foot sequence bag right now.
Okay, what's the contest for this one?
The contest for this one is, I would like
either anybody who's done melt and found that a particular sequence really helped, tell us what sequence really helped your body and what it helped with. Or if you're in pain and you want melt to help you, I want you to write down what area in your body, what pain you're in, that you want help with melt. Type it in chat. And then within the next couple minutes, we're going to draw one winner to win the book and the hand and foot sequence. And everybody who's in our programs know that I tell people to start with the foot sequence every morning. Everybody who's in my program also know that I love Melt Movie Night.
Yes.
Which is where I have the roller and I'm using my thigh and my cap.
Don't sit on your couch anymore. Just melt while you're watching.
No
television.
extra time. Like Sue really taught me, like one of the other concepts she taught me is the idea of no extra time.
Fit it into your lifestyle.
Fit into your lifestyle. So I'm going to watch 30 minutes of a show. I'm going to make it Melt Movie Night. So it's no extra time. I'm healing myself and I'm getting better.
That's right. And by the way, I'm gonna make one plug here. July 26th to July 29th, we're going to be at Red Mountain Resort.
I'll be there.
A 3-day retreat, and we're going to get Maggie to come, and we're going to co-collaborate on getting her to share some stuff. So if you guys haven't actually met Maggie in person, if you think she's dynamic on a little box on your screen, wait till you get her in a room. It's going to be mind-blowing. And so if you go to meltmethod.com, register, because it's almost full. So if you want to come,
we're going to share a link.
Yeah, register before April the 1st, and you get a discount on the event. So I hope to see some of you guys there, because I think this is going to be a really incredible event, and we're really excited to have Maggie with us. I think it's going to be pretty mind-blowing.
Well, I can't wait to get you in a room and some melt rollers.
Hey. She's pumped for it. She's pumped.
I'm pumped.
Just bringing it all back full circle, though. Again, much like Dr. Basinger, it is so nice to have Sue here, because she's an inspiration in this book. And that's what we're talking about here today, really, is the playbook for total wellness.
She helped me help myself physically. So this is why she's in the book. So I want to thank you.
Thank you for making the book, because there's so much that you've done that has helped me, inform me on things that I didn't even think myself. And so this has been like, I mean, it really is a playbook. Everybody should have this, and tell all of your friends about this and buy this book. It's amazing. There's chock full of great advice and simple things to do.
$2.99 today if you haven't picked it up yet.
Thank you, Sue. And let's announce the winner of the book and the hand and foot sequence tools is Wendy Stelwag. Congratulations to Wendy. Wendy, I'd love for you to email. There's a link that we're going to post the email for you to email our support desk to claim your prize. We have a book and we have a hand and foot tool bag for you. This is great.
Therapy kit.
I don't go anywhere without this. I travel
with it. It's easy.
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, heck yeah. I do the half roller too. I travel with the half roller. So
yeah,
just
the travel roller. Yeah, me too.
I was telling Dr. Maggie today, I use the melt balls while I'm doing my stand-up red light. You know, you can find ways to incorporate it into your lifestyle.
I melt my feet when I either brush my teeth or I make my coffee in the morning.
There you go.
Thank you, Sue.
Love you guys. Thank you.
It was so great to see you.
All right.
Okay, I believe we have a surprise guest now who is going to pop in. Dr. Maggie doesn't know about this, but somebody wanted to just pop in and say hello and share his or her thoughts on this very special day. Let's see who our special guest is.
Oh, hi!
I just wanted to wish you mazel tov on this amazing birth that you've had, because we've gotten to bear witness to your birthing this baby over the past year, and I know that it's been on your heart for a long time. And so I just want to wish you so much congratulations. I'm just honored to know you, to be a part of your team, and just to see all of the amazingness that you're constantly putting out in the world. So,
wow. You should see all the comments of people who says Allie's the best. They're so Allie. For those of you who don't know, Allie's our functional nutritionist with the mostest, who works with our clients in our programs. And so for any of you that have worked with her and love her, I would love for you some feedback and some woot woot for Allie in the chat. Allie, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for blessing our clients.
thank you for it's my pleasure. I've seen some names of people who just make me smile so much. And so I'm so proud to know those people as well and to see all of their success. And, you know, you were somebody who I wish I knew 10 years earlier because, you know, I had my own health struggles and it took me 10 years to resolve. And you were doing all of those things all along. I just didn't know you yet. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Allie.
This team, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. That was surprise.
Yeah,
You rock.
it's so great to see you, Allie. I know you've helped so many people and you continue to be also an inspiration. I know, working with Dr. Maggie as well. So thanks for everything you do. You're getting
Oh my
a lot
God,
of
everyone
love.
loves you in
You're getting a lot
chat.
of love
I
in
think
chat.
it's becoming the Allie Salmon show. I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Take care, Allie.
A reminder, everybody, we are rocking up the charts in Amazon. So here's a reminder: launch day. The book is the ebook price has been dropped to the ridiculous price of $2.99. So go and get the ebook. We're gonna share a link with you right now. The ebook is $2.99. You could also get a hard copy if you wanted to, but the ebook price has been dropped down. You will be getting bonuses when you buy the ebook. That is well over $97, which includes the Hormone Certainty mini program in there. And then for people who buy the book on launch day, we're also gifting you an additional book, which is the Insider's Guide, which is all the transformative protocols. All the protocols I've developed over the last 27 years in supplementation is in this book. If you buy the book today, you can come back to the site. There's a link for you to claim the prize. You can claim this book for you to download. So everybody who buys today will get this. And if you buy 10 or more copies of the book, you can also claim an additional prize. We're going to give away not one workshop, but we're giving away 2 workshops. One is to how to end chronic pain, and the other one is how to transform mental health naturally. So for people who buy 10 or more copies. So if you can hop over there and grab your ebook right now, that'd be amazing. And then what's coming up next?
What's coming up next?
All right.
Well, this is another special guest, another inspiration for Dr. Maggie. She alluded to this person a little earlier, saying this person inspired another one of the chapters in this book.
That we haven't gotten to. We saved the best for last on that chapter.
So shall we roll an introduction first for him?
The man needs no further introduction. Here he is.
And welcome to...
When we break the tipping point, when we go over the edge where it's 3 million every month and 3 million's a walk in the park, guess who the game changes for?
All of us.
Everybody in the room. I am with my beautiful goddess of a wife for over 33 years.
Mike is now sharing his formula for a full life, allowing people to grow and expand their entire lives to achieve the impact that they want while building the wealth that they desire.
So if you are a business owner, if you run a mastermind group, you want to be involved with Mike. Take it from me, somebody who's worked with him on multiple levels. Mike is the real deal.
If there's one person in my list of who to surround yourself with, it's Mike Aguilera.
And now, please welcome Mike Aguilera.
Everyone give a boom in chat. Everybody in chat, give a boom.
Boom.
There we go.
Boy, if that intro doesn't get you pumped, I don't know what will. I'm ready to go tackle something. So great to have you, Mike. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
I have to know, how is it that you and Dr. Maggie know each other?
I was just thinking about that as I was watching the video. I was thinking about it beforehand. Dr. Maggie and I were in a group together, and I think it might have been the first time we were in an environment. And I was probably talking some, sharing stuff, and she was in the room and she shared what she did. And somehow we ended up standing along this window. I think it was in California. And I went up to her and we were talking. I'm naturally always just vomiting information on people. And she turned around and said, hey, how can I help you? And I'm going to try not to get emotional now over it, but I started to get tears in my eyes. And I said, could you help my wife? She's the most important thing in the world to me. We've been together since we're 15, me and my beautiful wife, Jennifer. And I was like, can you help her? She's dealing with thyroid issues. And she said, we will do it. I'm going to help her out. And it started a catalyst for my wife's health to change. And, you know, I had tears in my eyes in front of a room full of people. And, you know, you could be, I built and sold 2 high 8-figure companies the last 5 years. And there's one thing that all, you know, that money is just doesn't mean anything when it comes to somebody you love so much is sick. And so everybody that is listening to this, I'm a raving fan on so many levels. Dr. Maggie's my resource when things are going south about health, and along with my incredible son and my daughter and my wife. So it's an honor for me to be here.
I love it. And your wife is in the chat. I saw she just put a bunch of hearts in the chat, sending love right back your way.
You know, I mean, Mike, there's so many ways with which you have inspired me in many areas of my life. But one of the things is I don't think I even told you, so I'm telling you now live on the air, is that you are the inspiration behind the chapter. Everybody, what's the last lesson in the book?
Okay, yes, this is the last one that we did not have said. We didn't say this earlier, so go ahead and type it in chat.
What is lesson 8, everybody? Start typing in the chat, because this lesson absolutely was inspired by Mike Aguilera, okay? And while we're doing that, I'm just letting you guys know is we're also going to be, there's a contest involved, of course. There's always a contest. We're going to be giving away 5 copies, e-copies of Mike's book, Mind Power, okay? And has everything to do with this chapter. And the name of the chapter, as Mike would know, is Mindset to Mind Growth. Ooh.
And Dr. Maggie, how was it that he inspired this chapter for you?
Yeah, for me, I think about, I mean, well, I'm actually, when I think about the journey that my life has gone through, whether it's physical health, mental, business-wise, all these, my medical career, I think that I've reached some really, really dark points. But the one thing that's always taken me out of these naders have been my desire to grow, my desire to growth and change, my desire for growth and change. I had a conversation with my daughter yesterday, and just a couple of days ago, and she said, you know, she said her highest value is growth and change. And I was like, damn, I did something right.
You did something right. You did a lot right.
Right?
That's special.
And Mike, everything that he does is just such a huge proponent of teaching people how to have power over our minds through the mindset work, but not mindset, mind growth. The mind really needs to grow and the mind really needs to change. And one of his statements is, the body always follows the mind. So people are always working on their body, but they're not working on their mind first, but the mind is the leader, right? So every aspect of our program, every mindset lesson in there is this concept of, we got to grow our mind because your body's going to follow the mind. And if you don't work on your mind, your body isn't going to follow, right? And so Mike, I mean, question for you. I mean, you made that statement, and the mindset to mind growth is actually literally from a sentence you've spoken. Yeah. What are your thoughts around? I would love for you to share with the audience. Like, you are a master of questions.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
A couple things to think about here. I mean, one, when I heard everybody all around, you know, decades of life telling me it's about mindset. And if you think about it, if you poured concrete in your mind, it's set, it wouldn't grow no more. It'd be stuck. And that's where I learned that people want mind growth. I mean, that's why people are coming to you, because if they have a mindset, they're already thinking, well, maybe this will fix it. And a lot of people have heard, Maggie, this phrase like success leaves clues. And I've been saying this for a year, and yeah, maybe that's true. But like, does anybody with their health have time to play Dora the Explorer? Like, do you have time to go look around to find clues to fix your health? No, go to someone who has a blueprint and has the plan. Like, why should you go sniffing for clues if you have a plan? And I'm a big, I'm a big believer in, time is valuable, solve it quick, get really, really smart people to tell you how they solved other people's problems, and don't play voodoo with your health. And I always like to say it's life, business, and wealth by design. Whatever you're not doing by design is by default. And default is normally slow and painful.
He said, have a plan. Kind of sounds like find somebody with a playbook. Do you know anybody with a playbook?
No, but well, here's the thing. That's the other piece. I don't want that to be missed here. Everybody listen up on this one and take notes on this piece where he says, like, find somebody who already solved the problem and ask them how they did it. Like, we don't have time to follow clues, play Dora the Explorer. It's your life. We're dealing with health. We're dealing with life. So reach out, right? Be surrounded with people. Ask people who they know. And interestingly, like Mike, you'll go to anybody, anywhere and start asking them questions.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, Dr. Maggie, what a lot of people that are listening here, first off, get the book. Cause I was sitting in the behind here listening and I'm like, oh my goodness, she's given a lot of massive value away for like pennies. And when you look at it, like people would pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars just for what she put in the book here. So take advantage of that. I think it's how fast do you want to improve your life and how long do you want your life to go? Mm-hmm. And maybe people can type in the chat bar. I always say it's not an age, it's a level. Because if you look at like I'm level 53. If you look at your age as a level, you should be improving over time, not getting worse. But the world has tried to program you like, oh, your grandfather, moved on at 85. Okay, well, your grandfather didn't have the ability for this type of wisdom and knowledge. Yeah. We didn't have where you could have apps and programs and trainings that could improve things like that because they were fixed in their mind of, well, if I just did this, I'll get that. But it's different today. So all of you have a chance right now to really enhance your life for longevity. So you don't have to have inflammation and pain and suffering and fatigue and lack of energy. And I bet there's a lot of business owners or, parents or grandparents on here, and type in the chat bar. Do you want more or less out of the rest of your life? I want more. I want more energy. I want more wealth. I want more time with my family.
More levels. Everybody's typing in their levels. You've certainly inspired people by that comment. It is a different way to look at it. And I'm curious, in your book, Mind Power, how do the lessons, what's a lesson that really is inspiring to you from Dr. Maggie's book that you can see some parallels to in your book as well? Because I know Dr. Maggie makes mindset, or shall we say mind growth, a big part
and
of
he's Mind Power.
Her program. Yeah, I'm curious. What is it about this book, 8 Out of the Box, that really resonated with your teachings as well?
Well, I mean, there's a direct correlation to a section inside my book called Thought, Word, and Deed. Yeah. And thought is your thinking about, everything. It's thinking about what you're watching right now. It's thinking about you're either eating a piece of chocolate cake or something else. Word is what you're telling everybody. Right. And a lot of people are not there. Somebody says, how you doing? You say, oh, pretty good. But you go home and you're like, you're not doing good. And then deed is the action. And if your thoughts are not aligned with your words, you're not going to take action. I mean, everybody that did not already go and purchase a book, you probably also have a ton of stuff sitting in your Amazon cart right now, waiting to take action on. And I always tell people, if you got stuff in your Amazon cart, either buy it or get rid of it. Because action is going to be the first step. If you have a problem taking action, you're going to fight against improving things. So let's get the mind right. And the mind, the body follows the mind. what I love what Dr. Maggie does, like if you're out of balance in your hormones and you have inflammation and fatigue and all these things that she's an expert on, you know, if you have that, that's going to affect the mind there. And then you're not going to make the decisions you need. You're not going to move as quick as you need. You're going to miss lots of opportunities. And her whole book is laid out as it's a blueprint. Do this, think like this, and you're going to start to get this.
Yep.
And something I love about your chapter on this is that you really talk about how powerful the mind is in showing how it can transform your health. You give specific examples about the placebo effect, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Would you touch on that?
Yeah, it's if they actually have done plenty of studies. There's massive placebo studies where people have, there's even more than the placebo study. I think about, there's so many studies where if someone even just has the intention and they have the ability to say the word excited, the medical outcomes are different.
Totally different. And
right?
It starts in their thoughts.
Like the only difference between one group that's successful, one group that's not, is that this group had the chance to say they were excited, use the word excited. So they had the thought, they, said the word, and it completely changed their outcome. And placebo effect is the same. It's the whole idea of collective intention. Like there are all these prayer studies that actually shows that when people pray together, have a set of the collective intention on something, the ability of that to happen happens. Like at a much greater rate. That is beyond even some of the medications that we give.
Yeah.
Yeah. And think about the word, somebody taught me this probably decades ago. They said, think about the word spelling. And they said, your thoughts are putting spells upon things. So if your thought, I bet if everybody in the chat bar, write down if you ever said something like this. Maybe a bunch of you didn't. Like, I'm stupid. I'm not smart. I'm not an artist. I'm not good at numbers.
I'm clumsy.
Right. That's become your reality because you put a spell on yourself. On the flip side, if you look at, along with Dr. Maggie saying about there's the placebo effect, there's actual scientific proof that first off, your body is, depending male or female, 65 to 75 to 70% water. And we know that our minds can change the molecular structure of water. So wait, if my mind can change the structure of water and make it heal me or kill me, and I sit here and say I'm stupid and dumb and worthless, guess what's going to happen inside your body? It's going to create things. So when you go through here and you start healing your mind, your body, your spirit, and everything, and all the aspects of nutrition that she talks about, I'm one of those people that did everything wrong. I promise you. I'm the one that used to go at GNC. That's what it was back then. Now I'd go in Whole Foods. My wife watched me plenty of times down the aisle. Go to this person that doesn't know much of anything and say, what should I be taking? They're like, and you leave $800 worth of vitamin B's and C's and D's. And then one day you get in somebody like Dr. Maggie's role and she's like, hey, you got to check your blood and check your gut. You check your gut. You're like, everything that the Whole Foods little girl was giving me was killing me, not healing me. And if I took that money, instead of spending it there and put it into the really finding out the core, you'll heal faster and you'll save money along the way.
Yeah, I think makes sense.
It makes total sense. And it's resonating with everybody in the comments.
Well, that's
too.
The thing is, this is why for me, having mind growth work is so critical in the program. It's to me, it makes logical sense, but yet people don't do these things that actually change the way that you think about things, change your perspective on things. For me, the biggest and best thing that I did with my own health was to actually work on growing my mind. The thoughts I have about my body and healing, the actions I take to teach others and myself, the actions I take to lead with curiosity and ask better and better questions, the actions I take to also reach out and connect with people who are, who have solved problems that I haven't been able to over and over and over again. This is how we level up. This is how I've leveled up and saved my own life. But we can absolutely do this in health. And that's why I love taking everything that he's teaching in the book with mind power and all the mind growth work that I've done in my knowing of Mike and turn it into every aspect of our program, in our fundamentals program, has mindset, mind growth work that's associated with it, and it's directly tied to results. One of the exercises we even do, like you know what? I love this question. So Mike is the master of questions. And I love when we're in mastermind with clients, they'll ask a question. And sometimes I'm saying, is that the question you should be asking? Is there another question that you should have been asking instead? Is there a question you're not asking that's even more important, right? And so it's interesting. What do you think is one question that people should be asking about? Like, because people are sick, people feel bad with their health, people put health as a top priority. But what's the question they're not asking themselves that they should be? As to why they're,
I think the question they're not asking themselves is what parts of my past are affecting my present? Because look, a lot of people's model are their parents or their parents' parents. And what they taught them, they said, you know, eat all the food on your plate. You know, even if you're full, like, and then what about your parents rewarded you maybe with like every time you did something good, they jammed, you know, sugar in your mouth. And the question I would ask myself is, hey, do I have any of these things carried over from my parents inside my mind?
Yeah.
And then the other part is a majority of the population is carrying a lot of either guilt, shames, or traumas. They feel shameful because maybe their upbringing, somebody's like, look at you, and they judged you. You're too big, too small, right? Too wide, too thin. And all of a sudden, then you shamed yourself. You're like, oh my goodness, I did have a piece of cake. And you want to like beat yourself for it. And I think if people could ask themselves the questions like, hey, what parts of my mind did I not allow to heal themselves yet? What parts have I not been able to reframe? And everybody here can do it. They can.
I did this. I was at one of your events. I was at Seekers, and Mike could talk a little bit. We could share a link that the group that Mike leads, and he could talk about it more. But I was at an event with Food Dog, and it was Seekers of Power. And some of you saw me share where I was holding flame and playing with fire. Oh yeah. And fire is a really important story in my past, where as a kid, like I was set as I think 6 or 7 year old to babysit a bunch of 3 and 4 year olds without any adult supervision, and a fire happened. And I pulled the kids out, ran through the building, and a bunch of adults came down and put out the fire, right?
Yeah.
And this story is in my book. And I talk about how the label that was given me after that event from my parents was, she's troublemaker. She's a fire starter. She's a troublemaker. My dad didn't speak to me for 2 months.
But you took that to heart.
I took that to heart, meaning like I make trouble. I create trouble. I endanger people's lives, right? I endanger people's lives, right? Because I was the kid in charge at 7 years old. And at Seekers, while playing with fire, I was able to rewrite that story. Because you know what really happened that day? I saved 6 kids, including myself.
That's right.
And should you have ever been put in charge in the first place at 7 years old of watching 3 and 4 year olds?
Yeah. But the thing is, why let someone else's story define the rest of my life with full of shame that I endanger other people's lives when I save people's lives? That's the story I'm going to choose to take from my past, from that experience. I am here saving lives every single day, including my own.
You are Dr. Maggie. And how powerful is that for you to have rewritten this story to become a more accurate story, and one that serves you, and one that serves your growth, and one that serves your health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look at how many people in chat are sharing it right now. Answer Mike's question. Think about it for a second. Like, what's something about your past that's influencing you or holding you back in your health, right? And you could just write one word or silently think about that yourself, or if something about my story resonated with you, about like that held me back for a long time to really claim that I am a healer. I actually save lives. I help people. I heal myself. I had to believe I could heal myself. How many of you believe that you could heal yourself and there's a story holding you back that you can't?
Lori says that explains so much about you, Dr. Maggie, and your passion for helping others. And thank you for being so vulnerable and sharing that, because I know that these are not necessarily easy memories to relive, but the fact that you've been able to reframe that and see it from a new perspective, it is helping so many other people.
Yeah.
And thank you, Mike, for helping to inspire that in Dr. Maggie, because then she's been able to in turn take the lessons that you guys have worked on together and inspire so many others. I know in your program, mind work is such a big part. You were mentioning there are so many exercises that we do. I practice one of them. I try to every single day.
Yeah.
Automatic negative thoughts, and anybody that's been through your program knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This stuff is so important, and it does have a direct impact on our health.
Absolutely. And before we move on, though, I want to make sure, because I want to make sure the contest, okay?
Oh, we got a contest.
Because Mike inspired this chapter, we're going to pull this chapter. Everybody grab your ebook. If you haven't gotten the ebook, please go get the ebook. We're going to share the link in the chat. Make sure you grab it, because there's contests and prizes. We're giving away 5 e-copies of Mind Power. I want you guys to go take a look at the last lesson in the book, lesson 8, which is from mindset to mind growth. And I want you guys to write the name of the quote that starts the chapter and the name of the person who said the quote into chat. Everybody that writes into it is going to be qualifying for the drawing. And we're going to be drawing 5 copies of Mind Power, which is Mike's latest book. Now, while that's
your book, and we're gonna, in a few minutes, we're gonna announce 5 winners. So this is a big one.
Yeah, and in the meantime, I do want Mike to share, like, how do people work with you? How do people get mindset to mind growth with you?
Yeah, I think one great way is we have, and I think we have the link for you guys. If anybody's I don't know if anybody wants to make any more money. If somebody wants to make more money in their life, put money in the chat bar. We have a money power challenge coming up. It's April 8th to the 12th. It's completely free. It's 1 hour a day for 5 days, where I'm going to teach what I've learned about making money and how to just do it easier and think a little different. And we'll tackle some of those mind games you have around, it's hard to make money and money doesn't grow on trees and money's dirty and all that stuff. We'll tackle all of that. So that's the best thing, is jump in on that link. Also, I didn't want this to be a drive-by, so feel free to find me on Facebook. But I will say, for both of you and Dr. Maggie, thank you for what you do. So everybody know listening, Dr. Maggie invited me here to talk. She didn't give me any framing. This is from my heart to everybody, so you could hear this. She's impacted my life. She's a gift in my world and my family's world. And I'm honored that you're on this movement, because you are changing lives. And I'm glad you had that experience as a kid. I'm really glad, because I believe that was part of the catalyst that's making you impact so many people that are changing today.
That's a good way to look at it as well.
It happened for me.
It happened for you for a reason that is now helping to propel you into something wonderful today.
100%.
It. Okay, a lot of you were typing in this powerful quote that starts the mindset to mind growth chapter.
We have 5 winners right now for the Mind Power book, and we're going to be announcing them right now. The winners are Sandra Snarky, Rhonda Horton, Lisa Roycroft, Sue Smith, and Ron Wilkins. Make sure you guys email us, and we'll drop the email, and we'll be sending the book your way, letting you guys know 5 copies.
And the quote is worth repeating. If we shall say the quote, believe you can, and you're halfway there.
Boom.
Theodore Roosevelt. Boom. Everybody in the chat, give Mike a big boom. And thank you so much for joining me. And it's always, I never know what you're going to say when I don't give you an agenda. And even when I give you an agenda, thank you for blessing us, Mike.
Thank you for having me. Everybody, grab the book, change your life. Thank you, Dr. Maggie. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Oh,
all right.
This has been a powerful discussion.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it. I can
you actually reminded me that I put that story in the book.
We talked about it earlier, because I was just really in awe of your vulnerability. You share so much in this book about your own journey.
Yeah.
And so you're not just sharing other people's stories, you're sharing your own story. And your story is inspiring to so many. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that said, I wanted to work with Dr. Maggie or learn from Dr. Maggie because I connect with her, because she is open, honest. She's been through some of the things that I've been through. So thank you for sharing that.
Okay.
Okay.
We have 2 guests coming in.
This is going to be fun.
I know. So we're going to be, I would love to introduce Dr. Jason Bradley. He's going to be popping in right now, along with Jamie Chen.
Hi, guys.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
All right.
Dr. Jason, so many people know and love you, but if you could give us a brief introduction, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm Dr. J. I'm a 20-year veteran of functional medicine and
had
a private practice for a lot of years. I'm an author of the Epic 5-Plan book, and I'm excited that I joined the Transform medical team last year. So excited to be here.
Thank you, Dr. Jason. And Jamie, so many of the alumni have had the pleasure of getting to work with you. Maybe not everybody in the online community knows you as well, but I know the alumni are big, big fans. I am. She was my pod leader, actually, when I went through the program. So, Jamie, can you give us an introduction for yourself as well?
Sure. I'm Jamie, and I've never been so excited to say I am a level 40. Thanks to that. I'm a marriage and family therapist and a mindset coach for Dr. Maggie's program.
Well, I mean, Jamie, I would love for you to share where you were, because you graduated how many years ago?
Well, four.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love these 4-year, 5-year, 6-year follow-ups. So can you tell us where you were before you started?
Oh my gosh, it's so embarrassing sometimes to think back about it.
I remember you.
I was bedridden. It was interesting as Mike was talking, I was thinking about how before I knew how to implement boundaries in my life, I would often say that my nerves were shot. And then I started developing neuropathy. And so I had a lot of nerve pain. I had a lot of migraines. I was bedridden. I had brain fog, just the whole gambit of things. And then, going from doctor to doctor, not getting answers, finally found you. I had my ice helmet I'd be wearing all the time for my headaches when I came into
an
the
ice
calls.
helmet?
Oh, yeah.
She was in an ice helmet.
Okay, we were trying everything.
Trying everything. Yeah, and I have 2 little kids at home. I have a job, and I just felt like my life was over as I had known it. I was out of commission. I couldn't participate in anything, and I said either I need to die or I need to do something to get my life back.
I remember actually a conversation we had during the program where I think I had what I call a CTJ, come to Jesus kind of meeting, where I was like, this is what you need to do. And I had to tell her a couple of steps and a couple next steps for her. And you just said, okay.
I'm in. I'm doing it.
I mean, from that to where are you now?
Well, I'm here. I'm sitting up. I'm functional. I'm participating as a mindset coach in your program. I still have my own full-time job. I'm an active participating mom. I exercise. So I have my life back, and it's better actually than what it was before.
And the question is how? Like, people want to know, like, what was the linchpin? How did this happen?
That's such an interesting question because there were so many moving parts. If I had to nail down 1 or 2, I would say my adrenals were a mess. And that's something that you helped me to identify. And also blood sugar balance, which I never would have thought to look into. And then also learning through the program how those 2 things go hand in hand. The mindset stuff kicked my butt, which I still use today. I feel like that really dug me out of a hole. So those are, if I have to name 3, I would say those are the top 3 for me.
And we'll talk to Dr. Jason in just a minute. We didn't forget about you, but Jamie, while we're talking to you, I just have to know, when you read through this book, you said you worked with Dr. Maggie, it was 4 years ago, and you work with her now and helping throughout the program and leading people in so many of these growth activities. What was it though about this book that was so striking to you and that you enjoyed, even with all of the knowledge that you've had in knowing and working with Dr. Maggie?
Oh, that's such a good question. Well, first I want to say I was shocked by, you're giving out all your secrets in this. Everything I read in here, I was like, wow, and some. There are things I learned even about, you were talking about the medical community and how there are certain, if someone doesn't want to take cholesterol medication, how that's a liability to the doctor, and kind of went further on into that. I really loved all of your case studies that you did in here. Those were really eye-opening. The role of digestion was huge. So, there are just so many great nuggets. And again, just the amount of information and how you did not hold back. You really let everyone know a lot of the goodies.
Jamie, thank you.
Thank
for
you.
that. Dr. Jason, you've been sitting there patiently. Thank you so much. You have, in your own right, helped so many people before ever joining forces.
Yeah, we've known each other for years.
With Dr. Maggie.
Do you want to share how we got to know each other? Like, how did that all happen?
You know, first of all, I just want to say, Jamie, this is part of the story. You were actually my wife's
I remember that too.
Yes.
So, you know, some years ago, I'll just share this. You know, I'll have a lot of experience as a functional medicine doctor, and my wife was not doing well. POTS, dysautonomia, you know, all of the symptoms that you could imagine. And we found you, or we knew of you and we knew each other, but we reached out to you and said, we want to work together. And honestly, even with my 20 years of experience and coming at this from all the different avenues that I knew from naturopathy and functional medicine and restorative medicine and every other angle that you could think of, we went to you and you helped us connect dots that we weren't seeing before.
It's the audio. Keep going. Let's back 30 seconds.
Sure.
There's a video audio someone's putting on.
Are we good?
There's a video playing.
I think we're playing Mike's video again.
Okay.
The video is still playing.
It's so dramatic. It's coming.
I want someone to call me the goddess of the life.
I love it.
Okay.
You know what?
That video was so inspiring. We had to play
So
it
you know what? If a man will say, I am a beautiful goddess of the life, I've done good, man. I've done good. There you go. There you go. All right,
She's
cool.
getting love behind the scenes. Okay, Dr. Jason, as you were saying.
You're saying even 20 years, a veteran.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So even with my 20 years experience, and I mean, thousands of cases under my belt, I couldn't crack my wife's case. I mean, and I felt like a loser. I had so much knowledge to provide, and it just wasn't sticking. So we reached out to Dr. Maggie and we worked with you and dug in. And really what I found was that you helped us reframe, even like I said, tons of experience. You connected dots that we couldn't see, that I couldn't see. You know, reading your book, I mean, you lay out the methodology that really every functional medicine doctor, every chiropractor, every naturopath, and quite frankly, every general practice doctor and family doctor needs to learn and apply. And it's just something that's lost in the cracks. And I just want to say thank you just for helping my wife out, helping us out. Yeah. And I'm so excited to be on the team.
You know, it's interesting because what Dr. Jason's talking about is how some diagnoses are like, how many have mystery symptoms? Like, I know, Jamie, you mentioned neuropathy, like, and Dr. Jason's mentioning POTS, right? And dysautonomia. Like, these diagnoses really feels like super special rare zebra or unicorn or orphan diseases out there, but it really isn't. I mean, and somebody's going to ask, and I'm going to ask Jamie, is neuropathy reversible?
Yes.
Emphatic. She's lived it.
Yeah, she's lived it. Is neuropathy reversible? The answer is yes. And I'm going to ask Dr. Jason, is POTS treatable? Is it reversible?
Absolutely. Yes.
You will not ever hear these answers from a medical doctor.
What I love is people are commenting right now saying, I'm buying the book and gifting it to my doctor.
Nice.
They're buying your book to go ahead and just say, you know what? Let's have a discussion after you read this.
Oh,
no, it makes sense because so many people do. They want concrete information that they can say, look, there's another way. There's a better way. There's an out of the box way. In fact, there's 8 out of the box ways that you can approach this differently. And so, yeah, that's a great idea. Buy it for somebody that could use this information to help on your medical team.
Yeah. Just a reminder, I want to remind everybody, we're sharing a link in chat right now. We haven't shared it enough and we haven't shared it on the screen enough. But today, the ebook has been dropped to the ridiculous, insanely low price of $2.99. And even if you already have a hard copy, you might want to pick up another e-copy or you might want to gift it.
Once they do purchase this book and you've had a chance to go through and read it, and I know some of you already have, how can they go ahead and leave you their review, their information? What do you want to ask that?
I want you guys to wait. So for those of you who are, so here's the interesting thing is we want to be verified, Amazon verified reviews. So it's important. And I know we already have pre-sold like over 1,000 of these already. So I know there's already 1,000 copies out that people have physical copies of, but there's a lot of people today who's getting the ebooks. I would encourage everybody, in order for us to be a verified Amazon reviewer, for you to make a purchase of the ebook or the physical book on Amazon. And if you've already read it, wait a couple hours to make sure you wait about 2 hours before you do a review. For people who just bought it, make sure you dig in, open up the ebook, start to peruse, start to go through it. And as you read it and as you enjoy it, please leave us a review as a verified Amazon purchase. That'd be really great. I would love for more people to know. Currently right now, because today is launch day, we don't have a single review there. So I would love for a bunch of you guys in the next couple hours who have already read it to get the ebook, wait about 2 hours, and then leave some reviews for us. That would be really awesome. I would love to take us to 50 to 100 reviews within the next 7 to 10 days.
Those reviews are so helpful too when other people are looking to. I know I read reviews. I am a big review reader because somebody else's thoughts, feelings about a product, about a book is really helpful to others. And so pass it along and share the love. And Dr. Maggie likes to say sharing is caring.
Yeah. So I do have a question for you guys, which is my question for you guys is, what do you think in your own, like Dr. J dealing with your wife and Jamie dealing in your own health, what was the biggest shocker of something that you would have never imagined was like literally the secret to turning this around for you that you discovered as you went through working with me?
Let's start with you, Dr. Jason.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many things, right? But I would say like some linchpins. I mean, connecting digestion and blood sugar fluctuation, the hypoglycemia drops. I mean, they're so important. And then the way that of course goes into, hormone balance and other pieces as well. But I mean, I think for Rachel, it was just critical to get the blood sugar balanced and work with digestion. Yeah.
And digestion and blood sugar is linked, by the way. I know they're separate chapters, but people are like, how does digestion and blood sugar affect each other? Totally connected. I see patterns. It's my sixth sense, just saying. But you too can learn that by reading this book. And then Jamie, what about you?
Yeah, I would have to echo Dr. Jason and say blood sugar. I always thought I'm not diabetic. I don't need to worry about it. It's not a thing.
That's a big one.
But really, I noticed such a difference even in the way I experienced pain when I was balancing my blood sugar. And then also the gluten. That was a shocker for me too, how much of a role that played into some of my symptoms.
It's funny that she mentioned I'm not diabetic. I don't need to worry about blood sugar. And that was the old thought process. She's not alone in thinking that. So many doctors think that too.
Well, we talk to people every day. And the thing is, all doctors care is, we do a test called hemoglobin A1C. And if you're not diabetic, then you don't have a blood sugar problem. Well, that's honestly really ignorant because but that's how we're trained as doctors. If someone's not diabetic, we don't have to worry about it. If they're diabetic, then we prescribe a medication. If we can't prescribe a medication, they don't have a real problem. But the issue is that it's not just about having high sugar. It's that people with these diagnoses, whether it's autoimmune, hormone problems, mast cell, or POTS, dysautonomia, people with these chronic diseases have blood sugar swings that are way bigger than normal, meaning they go really high and then really low, really high and then really low fast. And that really has a huge impact on nerves and neuropathy. It really has a huge impact on tachycardia, fast rate of the heart. It has a huge impact on brain fog. It has a huge impact in turning on autoimmunity. It has a huge impact on waking you up in the middle of the night. And that really impacts upon your hormone making that happens in the middle of the night. So dang it, blood sugar is involved with every single thing. It's huge. It's not a little thing. It's a big thing. And it doesn't even matter whether you're a diabetic or not. By the mere fact that you have these symptoms or these diagnoses, you have a huge blood sugar swing problem and you need to master your blood sugar.
It's true.
Yeah. Oh, we have people asking about how to claim their bonuses. I want to mention a couple things. When you buy the book, anybody that buys the book, whether it's the ebook or the hard copy, in the book is QR codes to redeem your bonuses for the book. Okay. Just so you know, those are going to come with the book no matter what.
And people were asking, did they have to buy it today? Or if they bought it previously, do they still get the bonuses?
Yes, they do. The QR codes are in here. You can collect those bonuses. There are bonuses within the book. We have a special launch day bonus, which is if you buy the book, either today or you buy it again today, there is a link that we're going to link that most of you are watching on that page already. On the bottom of that page is the ability to submit your receipt for buying today, and you'll get an additional bonus, which is a second book, which is our Transformative Protocols. That's a launch day bonus. This is something we've never put out before. It's all my protocols put in together for my 27 years of practice.
So wait, tell us a little bit more about what are we expecting in this protocols? I mean, I'm intrigued.
Well, if someone, for example, someone who had TBI, traumatic brain injury, is there a supplement protocol that's the best for that particular situation? And the answer is yes, we have that protocol in there. Someone has any low thyroid issue, we have a low thyroid or even a high thyroid protocol that's in there. What are the best supplements to take for thyroid? Which are the ones you shouldn't? The protocols are there. Someone's like, oh, I got long haul. What should I take? Or how can I prevent cold and flu? What do I do for hair loss? My hair loss protocol is in there. How many people deal with hair loss and want to end it?
So helpful. And these are some of the questions you get asked, that people
what
want to
is
know
the
all
best
the time.
supplement to take to start hormone balancing, right? I can't do anything else, but what's the first number one supplement? Well, it's in my protocols. So if you want a protocol book, buy the book today because you'll need the receipt, and then we'll list the website that you have right now that's that you're watching, most of you are watching from, and we'll share the link in chat, and we'll say claim your launch day bonuses here. Go to that website and you're going to submit your receipt, and then we'll send you the bonuses for the launch day bonus. That's additional, just so you guys know.
Love it.
So yeah, there we go.
As we're letting Jamie and Dr. Jason go, I just want to ask both of you, if you were going to tell somebody why they should pick up this book and what they might gain from it, what would you say? Jamie?
I was just thinking about this earlier today because I had a friend that reached out to me about these chronic migraines and gut issues that she's having. And my first thought was, I need to get her this book. I need to send this to her right now. And I think I just would like someone to know that there are multiple factors at play, and it's going to be really important to focus on each of those factors in order to get well.
So helpful. Thank you. And Dr. Jason?
Yeah. So, the reason I would recommend the book, there's so many. I love the way it's laid out. I love that each chapter can stand alone. I love the case studies, but what I really love is that there's an actionable plan at the end of each chapter.
Yep.
Like literally, it's like a how-to guide. It's not just like didactic.
I cut to the chase, man. I do the too long don't read version. You don't want to read the chapter, just read the action step in the back.
Yeah. And and what I love is that Dr. Maggie takes really complex ideas, these multifaceted ideas that are all interconnected, and breaks it down into read this, do this, and it's that simple. Like, it doesn't have to be hard. I mean, it's that simple. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Both. We appreciate you guys.
And everybody who's worked with Dr. J or Jamie in chat, give them some love.
Yes.
Thank you. Bye, you guys. Go team. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody. If you get,
we're
scooting back because we have some live and studio guests with us here. And meanwhile, if you haven't picked up the book, make sure you go pick up the book or go claim your bonuses. That'd be really awesome. Okay. All right, everybody.
We're welcoming two very special guests that have worked with.
I have not met you in person after all this time.
Good to see you. Nice to meet the both of you. His stool's a little higher, and when you scoot over just a little bit. Yeah, we'll just rearrange the set just a little bit.
Yeah.
Get in. See if we can squeeze this all in. We can zoom out maybe on the camera just a little bit. But okay, that's as far as we can.
There we go. We got this.
It is so nice to meet both of you. If you would just introduce yourself, we'll start with you to our audience.
Hi, I'm Lucas Francis, wife of Roxy Francis, who's in the program. I mean, we're all the same at this point.
I love, and you went through the program.
I did. I went through Transform. I've been working with Maggie for about a year and a half now.
And you were a big part of this as well. I would see you would be right by her side. Sometimes you couldn't make it, and you would be the one.
He's like, I'm Lucas. I'm here to ask a question from my goddess of a wife.
He feels the same way. That's true.
Yes.
That's true. Well, thank you both for being here so much. And I know we want to talk a little bit about what was it that you were trying to work on and why you wanted to work with Dr. Maggie and how you sought her
I can't
out.
believe I haven't met you yet, like in person. I'm still like, she's real.
Well, when I met Dr. Maggie, I was in my all-time low. I was diagnosed with ulcerative proctitis about 15 years ago, which is a form of IBD, and where it's horrible pain. You can't digest anything. there was blood in my stool every day, and I was experiencing flares for about a year at that point. And on top of that, I was up in the middle of the night every night for hours at a time, sometimes 3 hours every night. That was just the norm for me. On top of that, lots of hair loss. I mean, chunks of hair in every corner of my house, and just not feeling well, not doing well. I had gone to the doctor. I had just moved to Oregon and went to yet another doctor. I had been to dozens at that point. I had invested in the very best. I lived in Los Angeles when I was first diagnosed, went to some of the best gastroenterologists in LA, UCLA school, medical school.
My alma mater.
And, you know, it was shocking. They had said nutrition has nothing to do with it. You just got to get on this pill. And the pills were no longer working. So I went to a new doctor in Oregon, and they said, you know, you're doomed. Basically, you need to come to my office, spend a bunch of money, get hooked up to an IV for 2 hours every month for the rest of your life. And that was my all-time low.
Well, yeah, this sounds heartbreaking. This sounds like you're in a hopeless place. I'm sure as her spouse, this was challenging for you as well.
It was hard to comprehend. This was our reality. This is what our future was going to look like.
Yes, and we were wanting to plan for pregnancy at the time. That was our goal, and it was I couldn't even see that as a possibility.
Right. If you weren't even feeling well yourself and being able to take care of yourself, how could you possibly nurture this life and bring that to fruition?
Yeah.
So how did you find Dr. Maggie?
I was in an entrepreneurial business program, and one of our coaches was talking about a doctor, an autoimmune doctor whose business was booming and doing great. And I just had heard it out of the corner of my ear and wrote her name down. And a month or two went by, and I researched, and, you know, the minute I found her, I got on a call and joined the program.
Wow.
The minute.
Well, everybody's curious. How are you feeling now?
I'm doing fan-frickin-tastic.
Fan-frickin-tastic.
Yes, I'm doing so much better. I mean, you guys were just talking about blood sugar swings. I didn't even realize I was having them.
Yeah.
I would eat and zonk out. You know, we'd go out and eat, and I would just be sleeping on the drive home. No more flares, no more blood in the stool, no more hair loss.
This is huge.
Yeah, I've got my beautiful, long, thick hair. Went through a few rounds of IVF, got what I needed, and I'm going in for my frozen embryo transfer in the next month. And I'm okay.
Yeah, you feel ready for this.
Yes, that was the big transformation. Was, I think, when you go from doctor to doctor to doctor, and people tell you you're not okay, you're never going to get over this. That's
one story.
Fear. I was living in fear. I had no community or place to express the extreme amount of fear inside. That was preventing me from moving forward with my life. So now I feel like I am okay. That is, I am good. Dr. Maggie, you gave me the gift that I can move forward with my life and the confidence that I'm all right. And I know what to do if I ever feel like something's approaching. I have protocols. I know how to work through it, and I'm well.
What about this is making you emotional? Because I can sense the emotion.
Yeah. Just living in that state of, I thought that my life was going to end early.
Oh gosh.
I thought I was not going to get to live a long life. And now I know that I get to live as long of a life as I want to, and that it starts in my mindset, and then it goes into the actions that I take.
And you're seeing the results. You're feeling better. There's no more blood in your stool. I mean, that had to be a scary occurrence to see so frequently. All of these things have totally turned around based on the principles that are in the playbook right here. And you have had a chance to read this book and get your hands on a copy of this. What would you say to somebody from your experience from working with Dr. Maggie that she was able to boil down these lessons in this book for the masses now? Would you like to answer that?
Yes, this program has organized so many different concepts that, as Roxy said, we know exactly what to do. There's no confusion. There's no fear. It is the mastery of the organization of these principles and protocols is truly incredible. And it's been proven in our case and in going through the program, seeing person after person after person getting the same results. And you look at her work and her website and you see the hundreds and truly the thousands of testimonials of people whose lives have been transformed. It is proof. And I'm just so grateful that this book is out now so that more people, every single person on the planet who has some form of autoimmune deserves to have this knowledge and be able to take actions to transform their health and lengthen their life in the way that we have with Roxy's. I'm just so grateful that this book exists and it can get to the people who need it.
Real people. There's so many real stories in this book, and now we've got 2 more sitting in front of us. Dr. Maggie, how special for you getting to meet for the first time in person? Because I know as it goes, you see so many people through the internet now.
Well, I think this is the part of the experience that I want to point out. One of the chapter is about creating experiences. One of the things I'm really proud of is the ability that I walked away from clinical practice to create an experience that could be experienced by anybody globally, right? And Roxy could be in Oregon or Roxy could be in LA. And I have Irene in England, and Mary in Ireland. It's like it doesn't matter, right? And so I love the fact that I feel privileged to have had the ability to have experienced so many people through this program. I just feel blessed. I feel like I have people after people that I feel lucky to be in the presence of. And when I see like the love and the joy that you have in your life and the new life that you guys are going to be bringing into this world, I mean, I'm done. Like, I'm good. We can call this good.
And that they're
We're
able
good.
to, because of the work that you've helped create and put into all of this. That is amazing.
This gives so much meaning to my life. Like, I'm so thankful. I'm so glad you guys made it.
We're so thankful.
We're all going to be up here crying in a minute.
I mean, I am so grateful for my life, and I'm so joyful. And you actually, that's the thing you really brought back into my life. Like, I feel joyful. I feel great in my body. I feel great in my mind. I didn't even realize that was going to come with the study that you provided.
You've noticed a shift as well, haven't you?
Yes. I mean, there was just a lot of depression and anxiety prior to this program, and our days are great. Every day is great. And I mean, there's so much more here. Roxy mentioned some of her symptoms. There were many more she experienced before the program. And we've gone through this so many times. We have counted every single symptom and have been able to say this has been transformed through going with the program, and it is still transformed these months and over a year later.
And I can't tell you the chills I have hearing about the fact that you're ready to do this embryo transfer, because I know as you were going through, this was, maybe not the immediate focus while you were dealing with the health challenges, but it was always the goal.
Yes.
And speaking from experience of somebody who also went through infertility struggles and trying to create a family, you're the baby whisperer. If I would have met you earlier, I would have had a child earlier, and I know that to be true. And so people also come to you for fertility.
I am a proud baby whisperer.
I mean, talk about, why is that when you're able to apply some of the principles like that?
Why are people infertile?
Yeah.
Like, at the way that we're approaching infertility is all wrong. Like, we're looking at the result of something, and then it's just an indicator that there's other things that are going on that needs to be fixed, right? So, and just like it's an indicator, it is changeable, just like pain is changeable. Fertility issues, 99% of them are changeable. And it's an indicator that there's something else that's wrong. When I see somebody, whether it's Roxy, whether it's somebody else coming to me saying, I have trouble conceiving, I look and I ask questions, and we look at their data, we work with them. But pretty much within the first 15 minutes, I already know what it's going to take to fix this issue. Like, and Dr. Basinger talks about how he has an order of operations, right? I could see the patterns that's causing this indicator to light up. I could already foresee what it's going to be to do that. And then, just like he was talking about, and it's in the middle of this, as we go through the middle, that you and your body's going to give me even more indications and data. And I love this. Okay. So one of the things I talk about is how everything is data driven. And there's 3 sets of data always. People tend to think there's only one set of data, which is blood work or some sort of testing. Well, that's only one set of data. That's not even the first set of data. The first most important set of data is actually your symptoms.
So I love the idea. And if I had to write another chapter, it would be the secret is in your symptoms. Don't think your symptoms as data points.
Thank them.
Because the first set of data is your symptoms. And I love the fact that I was teaching Lucas and you, and everybody in there, what is your body doing? What is it saying? When did it happen? How did that happen? What is your blood work going to say? Second set of data. And then, so there's 2 sets of data. And then there's also a third set of data. The third set of data is also family history and your past medical history. So I feel like those pieces don't get put together. And so for me, when I see even a case of, let's say, I'm trying to get pregnant, to me, it's just another puzzle to be solved. It's an indicator that's there, but I know the order of operations it takes to get there. It's just fun.
It is fun.
It's just fun. It's fun to make babies, however you want to look at it.
Well, I can't wait for that update, as well. And it's going to be the most special update. And, it's a mindset thing as well. We know it's going to happen. We know it's going to happen for you guys. And that's chills.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for stopping by. It's just such an amazing surprise and to finally meet you in person.
Yes, feeling so well.
I feel like I know both of you so well.
Isn't it funny how that happens? We were the same way. We met for the first time in person
today,
and it's like,
we met for the first time today. People are still asking who's taller.
Yeah, by the way,
is it Maggie or Anne?
Spoiler.
Wait. There's a prize in this.
Oh, okay. I love that.
But wait, there's a prize.
More. Oh my
we're going to give away a turbocharge my digestion, but we're going to have you guys vote. Who do you guys think is? Should we go who's taller or who's shorter?
Who's taller? Let's say.
Let's say who's taller. Who do you guys think is tall? And notice there is camera distortion. I am closer to the camera,
so you can't always tell that way.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to give you a clue. We're both not tall. Neither one of us were blessed with
facts.
We're vertically challenged.
Okay. Have a vote of who you guys think is shorter, is taller.
Who's taller?
Write the name and who's taller.
A lot of people are saying Anne is taller, but there voting for Lucas. Yeah. Smart.
Well, it's true. Lucas is taller. We might have to give away another turbocharge my digestion to the one who said Lucas.
I think it was Dr. Jason.
So I know we can't. I don't think it's going to capture us standing, but
we'll let them know.
We could try. I don't know.
We could try it. We could try it. Let's see.
Why not?
They can't
Listen,
see me.
Back to back. The answer is Maggie. Neither one of us are very tall though, so shocking.
I'm taller.
She's the taller one.
Just so you know, when I ran out of the house to greet her when she came by, this is my library, by the way. I the moment I saw her, I started jumping up, but I jumped up even more when she came and hugged me. She was shorter. I went, "Oh my God, I'm taller than somebody."
So, good job. You guys, thank you so much for being a part of this and just for sharing your story. It's going to help other people. I'm sure maybe watching some of her case studies inspired you. Is that true?
That's what got me here. Yeah.
Well,
you're doing the same for others. So thank you for taking the time.
Thanks for paying it forward.
Yeah.
And thank you for showing up. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Did you want to say something else?
Just thank you, Maggie, from the bottom of our hearts.
Thank you. You're welcome. You're welcome.
We appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. All right.
Oh, Maggie, this has been such a day, an emotional day, an exciting day, a day that we have been looking forward to since the thought came to you to create this book.
We are at our final finish, everybody, and we have 3 guests that we're going to be bringing on. They've been waiting very patiently. We have 3 guests who are coming on. This is the most requested guest, just so you know, the first one. And he's been, without further, this is the most requested follow-up. And we're going to bring up Tyler Walsh.
Everybody loves him. Here he is.
What is up, Maggie?
Hey, what's up? You always say that.
What is up?
Autoimmune typhoon in the house,
Yeah,
Tyler.
that's right.
Yeah, you
How's
always
everybody
get
doing?
so much love. Everybody,
Thank you.
the ladies get very excited when he comes on.
When he went through the program, the ladies got very excited. But I will say that at the beginning of the program, nobody was excited. He was dying on the couch.
Right. It was bad. Tyler, take us back to where were you before you started working with Dr. Maggie and at the beginning stages there?
Oh gosh. Honestly, before I joined Maggie's program, I was just a number in the system. Just like everybody else that struggles with autoimmune diseases. You just kind of get in the groove of going to the doctor, dealing with your symptoms, getting labeled with whatever it is. For me, it was specifically Crohn's disease. then it's just a shit ton of guessing. It's just, hey, let's give you this pill, let's give you that pill,
Well, see,
and just pure uncertainty, you know.
This is when I was doing the calls, and I remember I met you and your mom on video, your parents on video.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
he was in the bathroom and then laying on the couch. And this is what you had said to me. You said, I had a GI doctor to meet with the surgeon, and they told me that my only option was to get surgery to remove like sections of your colon or your whole colon or something. And even then they told me I was going to die.
Ugh.
Yeah. And honestly, you in this program completely saved me. And I think one of the best things about it, when I started it, you know, I graduated in 2018. And when I started it, there was no way I could go to the doctors. There's no way I could get off the couch or do anything, right? And so you utilizing the online community and bringing people together who all struggle maybe differently, but with similar issues, that was everything, because I didn't have to leave. I could have my mom be on the call for me because I was literally dying, and she took care of all the questions, wrote down all your info, because there's no way I would have done that by myself. Like, all the info that you have to share and have to offer is incredible. And honestly, without my mom writing everything down and taking all the notes,
Yeah.
there's no way I would also be here, you know, without both of you
Natalie's
guys.
in the audience. Natalie's in the audience.
She's
I mean, Tyler, can you
What's
list
up, Mom?
the number of diagnoses and problems you had when you started? I mean, it's long.
Yeah, it is long. Crohn's disease obviously is my main core disease, and hell broke loose after that. You know, I'd get sacroiliitis, massive depression. My mindset was horrible. Osteopenia. My joints and my muscles would swell so big, you know, I couldn't walk. You know, I'd get gout, and then every once in a while still struggle with little things here and there, you know. And I think so many people think the road to healing autoimmune disease is this like straight line, right? Oh, you go to the doctor, you get these pills, or even natural, you know. But it's a bumpy road. And the best thing about Maggie's program, what she has to offer, is it can take that bumpy road and it can just make it a little less bumpy and a little less bumpy and a little less bumpy. The more and more you start to understand your body, your data, that bumpy road starts to become so much less bumpy, and you're able to actually like capitalize on all your symptoms and issues before they get bad. And then eventually that bumpy road starts to smooth out, and life just becomes so much freaking better.
So the funny thing is, went through the program how many years ago? 6 years ago?
2018, right?
Yeah, 2018.
And we have Debbie who went through the program with him, saying, sitting there making comments too. We have people who is part of the group that he went through who are commenting. So I remember he was like the first couple weeks. By week 6, I mean, we were jokingly calling him Mr. Pancake Man.
Oh gosh.
Because I mean, wasn't that like you loved pancakes?
That was the prednisone. The prednisone I was on pre your program, and thank God you helped me wean off. But that stuff had me chowing pancakes. Oh my God, it was so addictive.
He was like Mr. Pancake Man. And by week 6, while we were on the calls working, he was sitting here like lifting weights.
Oh my gosh.
On the calls. But I think that was huge. And yes, all the ladies were like, they were like Tyler moms or they were Tyler fans, one or the other.
Hey, it was a quick turnaround, which was great. And look
Like
at where I'm
weeks.
doing now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
where are you now?
Well, dude, it's like I said, it's been a journey. It's been a bumpy freaking road. Understanding and taking the core of what you've taught everybody has helped dramatically. And, you know, I just got back from a Vegas tournament playing very competitive paintball. I would have never been able to do that before. And even if I did, I would have came back in so much pain and so much swelling, but I'm good. Like, that was last week. Now I'm able to take a trip with my kids. We're out in Seattle right now. They just finished lacrosse, you know, their lacrosse event this weekend. So I'm able to parent my kids again. I'm able to play my sports again. My manhood came back, because sure as shit, that's what your autoimmune disease is as a man will strip from you, is it will take your manhood and strip every little ounce of it away from you. And believe me when I say, if you're a man out there, I know how you feel.
His mom, by the way, in the chat saying he still loves the pancakes, number 1. And number 2, she says they still refer to the notes. still referring though to the notes that you got from Dr. Maggie in the program. And so I'm curious, Tyler, then to have something like Dr. Maggie's new book and having this playbook, how helpful would that be for somebody like you who may have been in your shoes or dealing with something similar?
Honestly, it's incredible, Maggie, that you're doing this, because I know there's not a lot of people out there that maybe can have the same opportunity to join such an intensive program like you have. So for you to be able to bring it into a book and get that info into people's hands, that might not have the opportunity, that's huge. That's going to change, I think, a lot of people's lives that might see what you have, but again, they don't have the opportunity to join. So now they do. Now they have that in their hands. And if this book can help people like your program helped me, then everybody needs to know it, and everybody should have it in their hands, because you've changed my life and you've changed so many other people's lives that I've seen, that come through your program. And it's just incredible. And I think you putting this book out is fantastic. It needs to be heard.
Tyler, thank you so much. And your walking testimonial of why I do this. And I'm so glad this information is out for everybody in the books. But the other thing is, since 2018, we've grown to so many different programs. Just so you know, now it's not just the main big program. We have the hormone program. We have a digestion program. We have food mapping program. We have a thyroid program. So, and you mentioned like manhood and hormones. Like we did a live together where we talked about how the man is the most ignored hormonally.
Yes. And you talk about male hormones in the book as well.
It's really important. It's just totally missed. And then a lot of dudes just think it's all about only about testosterone, and it's way more than that. I mean, Tyler has shared in the live, his hormone levels were the level of
my young son at the time. I think he was like 10. He was like 10, and they're like, dude, he probably has better hormones than you. And the crazy part is, hormonally I felt fine. As a man, I thought I was fine with my hormones, and sure as shit, that was like a major problem with my health issues, which I had no idea.
Yeah.
Well, your story continues to impact so many people, and so thank you for inspiring
Thank
people,
you.
and thank you for
hanging on. I know you're in the car after lacrosse game. I appreciate you coming in from Seattle. Keep going, enjoying your life, dude. Yo, what's up?
Thank you guys. You got it. You got it.
Thank you.
Bye, Tyler.
Thank you, Maggie.
And then we have Gillian and Chris. Oh my goodness. Last two guests, everybody. Gillian and Chris. I would love for these two to join us.
Oh my gosh. Hello to both of you. Is it Gillian or Jillian?
Gillian.
It's Gillian. Gillian, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Gillian Witt. I am from the South. You can probably tell already. Live in Georgia. I'm a high school nutrition and food science teacher, and I'm just finishing the program. So a lot of people in here have finished a long time ago, but I'm just right now finishing it.
Okay, great. Can't wait to hear some of your perspective about this. Thank you. And Chris, can you introduce yourself?
Yep, I'm Chris, and I finished the program last November. I apologize if there's any background noise. I've been at a conference all day, which I wouldn't have been able to do a year ago. So I just apologize. I stuck into a classroom to help you guys out real quick, or not help you out, but share my story real quick.
Thank you. And well, talk to us about why you would not have been able to even be at that conference prior.
Yeah, this time last year, my fatigue and all of my symptoms were just out of control. I mean, I was barely making it day to day. I had really severe hormonal problems, and my thyroid was out of whack. So I was barely taking care of my kids, just the bare minimum.
And today you're able to clearly travel to this conference.
I know. Today I woke up, I gave 2 massages, I hit the ground running. I've been in a conference all day. I was teaching, I was training. So it's good. It feels good to be back.
So there's something these two ladies have in common that I actually want to share, because one of the things Chris has shared with me post-program repeatedly is the changes that you're seeing in your family members, how this has impacted your kids. And I know, Gillian, you're a teacher and you're teaching this to the kids in school as well. I would love to know what has been the impact of you doing the program on either your kids or the kids you teach. Chris?
I'm sorry, was that me?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've had huge changes with my kids. I'm a special needs mom. I've got 2 special needs kids, one with PANS and one with fairly severe autism. And the gains for my kids have just been absolutely amazing. We've taken the frequency of my daughter's meltdowns from, regularly every day to now we probably get a meltdown maybe once a week, maybe.
Wow, that's
She's
a big life improvement for the whole family then.
Oh, totally. And she's had huge gains with language, especially recently. Her games came a little bit slower than my son's did, but we have had a huge influx of language. We're starting to get some expressive language and not just functional language, which I mean, if you have a kid that's hard to communicate with, just to get some of that expressive language to be able to say, Mom, I don't like that. It's life altering. It's just amazing. And then my son, he when I started the program in August, we were still really struggling with even letter recognition. He's 7. And so we had just been working on these things for so long. We started to get some of the digestive pieces put together to him. And I told Dr. Maggie this in January, he had to have his IEP redone. And from August until the end of January, he is reading at a 3rd grade reading level.
Boom.
It's so amazing. And Chris, I remember when we talked last, you shared with me, you know, you even had a video, and it was so special for you because it was him finally kind of reading to you for one of the first times, because before you said letter recognition was so hard.
Yeah.
And it was, as a parent, I know every parent out there can relate to the fact that you want the best for your kid. And when they're struggling, when they're having a hard time with something, it is painful for you as a parent as well. So to be able to see your children thriving because of the principles that you applied by the education that you got from Dr. Maggie and her program, I mean, is that really what made the difference? Or how did this happen? How were your children able to have these turnarounds?
Yeah, well, I think the way the program is set up is genius, because she starts this series of habit stacking, you know, so it was just, as I was picking up new habits, of course, that's just translating into my household and how I'm running my life. And, you know, then the more I was learning about some of the hiccups in my digestion, I was, I'm fixing some of the hiccups in their digestion. So, I mean, just the way the whole program is set up, it's genius and it's easy. Well, not easy. I mean, you've got to apply it, but like the roadmap is so clear. That's what's easy about it, So when you're stacking all the habits together, there have been changes in my kids' diet. There's been changes in their digestion. There's been changes in their output. So, it's all the things just starting to come together. My son's particularly too, we really got him, on the MCT8 oil and some of those things that really just made his brain come alive. Like I can't really describe it any other way than that. So, I mean, it's a step process, but oh, so worth it. And Dr. Maggie makes it so easy to follow because you feel like you can do it. Even when you're drowning, you know that there's something you can do about it.
Yeah. And you put so much of that in this book as well for any parent who might want to help their child and look into some of these strategies.
I love working with kids on the spectrum, kids with PANS and PANDAS that talk about unicorn or mystery illnesses, or kids with sensory processing. I'm an autoimmune mom. So I dealt with a lot of these issues with my own child. So that's a whole next book.
A next book. Okay.
This is a whole next book. Yeah.
Gillian, how about you? Dr. Maggie alluded to the fact that
before we do that though, Chris, I know you might have to go back to your conference. If you need to leave to go back to your conference, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, I actually do need to go. They've been waving me back in.
Thank you.
We appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gillian.
Well, I can't say enough about what all I've learned. Being that I teach nutrition classes during the day, they are getting so much of the information that I've learned from Dr. Maggie in my classes. I already had a blood sugar chart, high spiked blood sugar, stable blood sugar, happy blood sugar on the chart, on the board. I reference that all the time, but I'm able to add so much more information thanks to the things I've learned in Dr. Maggie's class. I mean, just this week, I taught them about the galactose enzyme, if they might lack it, because they were talking about that cruciferous vegetables made them gassy. And I knew the lactose enzyme. I knew that part, but I didn't know about the galactose enzyme. I actually thought it was going to show up on my food mapping test, and come to find out, it's just, I like that enzyme, and Bino is my friend now. So
I've just
learned.
So smart.
so much. Coming into the program, I was just at a loss at why I couldn't get to the bottom of fatigue, brain fog, insomnia, the hair loss, and then just the diminished zeal for my life, daily life. And I know that time is limited, but my biggest linchpins, I believe, were just low ferritin, and my hormones were a mess. And addressing the ferritin alone, my husband, I asked him before this wonderful book reveal, I said, what are your biggest things that you've seen in me? And I jotted it down so I could share. He said, you're no longer lethargic. Your stamina is so much better. I almost want to cry when I say it, just hearing him say it. And that he's like, your mental and your emotional health is just so much better. And it's only been 9 weeks. So the sky's the limit.
Recent. Yeah, as to where you
Well,
go from
it's
here.
people are like, ask me like, I want to get better. I'm like, do you want to get better fast or do you want to get better slow?
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, let's just make this happen fast.
Do it.
Right.
Just do it.
Time's important.
Yeah, I joined the food mapping program first, and we got snowed in early January. I know you're not supposed to do it, but I did like all the modules as fast as I could. I mean, what else was I going to do? I was snowed in. But I quickly realized, no, I need way more. And then the very first meeting I had with Dr. Maggie, it was a Friday night. She did the interview. I don't know if you remember, I was a zombie. I was like worn out. It did not look like
asked her. It was one of those rare occasions where I got to do the call.
Okay.
And I asked her, I said, man, if all your symptoms were like 0, how would life look different? What would you do? What would you do? And you said, what did you say?
I said, read. I was like, oh my gosh.
I was like, oh,
while I love to read, I love outdoors, paddleboarding, biking, hiking, pickleball. I mean, I love outdoors. I do love to read, but I could not believe I answered the question with read. It was fun after the fact.
Because life is so big now for you, you know, and Gillian is a really good example. And we're going to go back to one of the chapters, which is it's all about it's not your hormones and it's just your hormones. And
I got it.
What did it say?
It is your hormones, or it can't be your hormones.
It can't be. It's just your hormones, or it can't be your hormones.
Right.
And she's a really great example, and it's one of those cases that I would love to share probably in the next book, because this is a series, by the way. It's 8 Out of the Box series, and this book is Ways to Transform Your Health. But one of the things I think the second book I would love to do, and we're already getting started, is the hormone book. And she's a great example of somebody who went to all the doctors thinking she's going to do the right things to get my hormones are out of whack. I can't sleep, or I have hot flashes. I have these problems. I'm going to go to a hormone specialist to prescribe me hormones. And what did you learn about your hormones in the program, Gillian?
Oh, I was way over medicated.
Way over medicated.
And it was affecting my adrenals. My adrenals were sky high in the morning, and then my adrenals were raising at the end. The cortisol was raising at the end of the evening when I'm supposed to be, going to sleep. So I learned so much, and you guys have guided me in that. And that was just recently, a couple of weeks ago. I already feel so much better with the changes we made.
When I looked at the doses of hormones, when Kathy and I looked at the doses of hormones she was on, I was like, okay, so this is the kind of dose I would put in a cow.
Wow.
Like this is what I would call a heifer dose.
That's almost
of this particular hormone.
That's like, it's almost borderline malpractice for a physician.
This is the standard of care. I want you guys to know this is the standard of care out there. This is why, my goodness, if nothing else, get the book and read the chapter. It's just your hormones and it can't be your hormones, because in there are millions and millions of men and women whose hormones are being mismanaged, misdiagnosed, mismanaged, or ignored.
And this was by a specialist. This wasn't even just a normal doctor. This is someone that the story, Dr. Maggie.
Yeah, I do.
That just felt like he was truly doing the right thing. But I'm just glad that we tackled this now, and it's not years down the road. It was 3 years of it, but hey, I'm just glad it wasn't a lot more years. I'm so grateful to have found you, and it's amazing. Everybody, you need the book. You need the book. It'll change the trajectory of your life.
Can I tell you guys something? Like, yes, we're going to share a link for the book also, but we're also going to share a link for people to leave reviews, because you wrote the most amazing review in an email to us. And we haven't been able to leave a review yet because we just launched today. But we want to populate Amazon with Amazon verified reviews. So here's what I'm going to ask every one of you guys to do. Make sure a couple things logistically. Like today, when you buy this book, all the book bonuses are in the book in QR code. So you'll get those. But if you want the launch day bonus, we're going to list a link to a website where you can enter your receipt number and the number of books you bought, and you can receive the additional bonus of the protocols book. And then if you bought 10 or more books or 10 or more ebooks, those of you that did, this is the Transformative Protocols book that everyone buying today is going to get, but there is a link to a website for you to redeem that. And if you're on our launch list, we're going to email you with the information to get to download this book, just so you know. The other, if you buy 10 or more books, there's going to be 2 workshops that are going to be given to you that are going to be never shared with the public. One is how to end chronic pain. And another one is how to transform mental health naturally for people who got 10 or more ebooks or hard copy books. Now, how to leave a review. And this is for you, Gillian, too, because what you wrote was amazing. It needs to be an Amazon verified purchase review. So make sure you spend the $2.99 today. Do me a favor. Okay. Get the
Already
ebook.
did spend the $2.99.
Thank you. And open the ebook and make sure you peruse it. And because they want people who've actually opened the ebook. And I know some of you already read the book. Thousands of you already got the pre-book. And she highlighted my book, just so you know. That book is dog-eared. Wait a couple hours after you've made the purchase of the ebook, and after you've had the ability to peruse the ebook, go ahead and please leave a verified Amazon purchase review. We're gonna hit. We're hitting bestseller lists right now, even as we speak. Last we checked, we're at number 10. And what really drives the sales of the book, and there's many of these people to get a hold of the book, is reviews. And we started today with 0 reviews. We're currently at 2 reviews. So we need to hit 50 to 100 reviews by the end of this week. So I would ask every single one of you who already read the book to please do me a favor, buy the ebook. We're going to keep that price where it is. As low as
5-star reviews, by the way.
Oh my
5-star
gosh.
Reviews. Yes.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. If those of you guys can head over there and make sure it's been about 2 hours after you purchased the ebook and you've opened the ebook and leave a review for us, that would be really great.
You have done so much and poured so much into so many people.
I want this in people's hands.
Right.
I really do. I held nothing back. There's so much in here. And this woman was holding my book and like quoting certain chapters and lines on the call we had together.
Gillian, that's just incredible. Your story and your turnaround in such a short period of time, too. So couldn't be more happy for you in the knowledge that you gained and the results that you subsequently gained as well.
Just the beginning.
Just the beginning. Thank you.
Thank you, Gillian.
Thank you.
Now, Dr. Maggie, did we offer a prize to somebody for the height contest?
We did.
Okay.
So that was going to be, we have a course we haven't launched yet called Turbocharge My Digestion. And we're giving it away to one person who is trying to guess who's taller,
Such a funny one.
me or Anne. And
we have a winner.
Out of the people who guessed that it was me, we had to choose a random winner. And the winner is Gil McCowan.
Gil, congratulations.
You won Turbocharge My Digestion. Make sure there's a link to email our support desk and we'll get that program out to you, Turbocharge My Digestion. And it's a new mini course that we're going to be launching sometime in April.
Dr. Maggie, what has this day been like for you? I mean, I know it's been overwhelming, exhausting in some ways, probably, but you put so much into this, and to see your life's work now in a book, published author, Dr. Maggie Yu, and everybody raving about the contents of this book, how are you feeling?
I will tell you this, those of you who are still here, and there's about half of you still here, I am just so thankful, so grateful. Talking about stories and limitations. As a kid, I told you about the fire story where I said, I told you about the fire story where I thought that I was the one who gets in trouble. I'm the one who, what was it? The story around it was, you know,
you were a troublemaker.
I was a troublemaker and that I actually endangered people's lives. To turning around my own story to no, I'm a survivor, I'm a thriver. Not only do I do that, I take other people with me and I save their lives.
Save lives.
Right. And so I thought, you know, the way I did that was as a teacher. And I never had the story that I could do that as an author. This is new identity. Today, I'm declaring to the world that Dr. Maggie Yu, it's not only a doctor and a teacher, not only those things, I'm an author.
You're an author. Dr. Maggie has us all have an I am statement. So
Yes.
this is now part of your identity.
I am a doctor, I am a teacher, and I am an author.
Congratulations, Dr. Maggie, on the success of this day, on the success of this book. I know it's only the beginning too. You mentioned this is a series, so that implies there's more to come.
There's more books coming. There's already 2 we're currently working on. So there's more to the series. Maybe there's 8 to the 8 out of the box series.
I love it. And maybe we'll talk someday about why you chose 8 as well, because I know that has a very special meaning.
Do you guys know why I chose 8 and why it appears a certain way on the cover? We've had a couple variations of the cover. This is the latest rendition of the cover. Do you know what this is?
What does it look like when you turn it like that? Anybody type in chat. What do you think that is? Yeah, some people are saying
There's
8,
a little
8 means new beginnings.
There's a little Buzz Lightyear in this. You know what it is?
Oh, and they're getting yes, you are. They're infinity.
To
everybody.
infinity and beyond.
Mhm.
This is to infinity and beyond. This is 8 out of the box, but really it's the infinity sign, which has deep, deep meaning for me. So I'm just part of this infinity sign, and so are you.
Nothing is impossible. Everything is within your reach. The lessons in this book prove it. And great opportunity to go ahead, think outside the box, and pick up a copy of 8 out of the box Ways to Transform Your Health by Dr. Maggie Yu.
And everybody check your emails. We're going to be signing off now, but over the next couple hours, couple days, you can receive emails. There's going to be emails for you to build the ability to still get the book at $2.99. We're going to hold that price for a couple days. Number 1. Number 2, also the ability to reclaim your bonuses for purchasing and participating in launch day. Number 2, in the emails also will be the exact instructions that is needed to leave a verified purchase Amazon review. So I thank you in advance to all of you that purchased today, and I look forward to seeing your reviews as well. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for joining us. This was a fun day. We appreciate all of you for watching, and thank you, Dr. Maggie, for making this all possible.
Thank you for flying in, and from all the way from Little Rock, Arkansas, to prove that I am indeed taller.
Have a great rest of your day.
Bye, everybody. The end.